Hello. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Is everything okay with you guys? Hopefully everything is okay because today we're gonna be looking at the new kits from Nikke Goddess of Victory. Sorry, let me go here. Bum. There we go. Nidio's internet is still down. Damn. It do be like that. Sometimes, you know, time goes into fucky wacky mode. And yeah, it is what it is. I get it. If you need to leave early, I get it. What's up, KO Anime? How you doing? What's up, Platos? How you doing? What's up, Siren? Anniversary is in 2 days? Hell yeah, it is. I'm very hyped for it. I don't know if you guys are hyped for it, but I am. I am triple hyped for it. I was listening a little bit to some of the other content creators react to the skill kits, but my personal belief is that this upcoming event, the skill kits are amazing. Yeah, have you guys seen it? Last year they destroyed the cables during construction, and I didn't have internet for 3 months. Wild. Platos, what country is this? Is this the US? It sounds like something the US would do. Like, not intentionally destroying the thing, but you know. Germany? Damn. 3 months is wild. Any update tomorrow on reset? Tomorrow on reset. Yeah. Man, I'm super hyped. I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel it too. I'm going to go for the I'm going to do my gacha pools on Siren, followed by the free pools on Siren, and then if I don't get her, I will use my mileage to get 1 copy of her for testing and all that stuff. But from my opinion, she seems to be quite good. Not OP, good. What do I mean by OP? OP is better and little. Anything that is better and little is OP. You're gonna try MLB for Siren? That's crazy. Are you gonna are you gonna camp server up? Yeah. She's better and little. Depends who your burst to is. It really depends on who your burst to is. For example, if your burst 2 is somebody that doesn't increase attack, Lita is probably better. If your burst 2 is somebody that increases like 1 billion% attack, then nah. Better in machine gun team comp, yes. In general, no. Lita is like amazingly brain dead. Like crazy brain dead. You guys comparing her to Rappi, I would never compare her to Rappi. Let me explain why. Actually, let me check one thing first real quick. Rappi Red Hood skills. We're comparing her to Rappi Red Hood. 8% damage, attack damage up. I don't think so. Like, okay, if you're talking about Pioneer is Siren is mid. Nah. Rappi Red Hood is better in wind type solo raids as well as electric type solo raids. But electric? Was it electric? Let me just double check. Yeah, wind and electric. But Siren is definitely better in iron type solo raids. 100%. Can we agree on that? Now the question is on neutral type solo raids. That's where there's a, like, we have to talk about it and think through it. Correct? My opinion is this. Combat assist is attack damage up. 8% only. And 18% attack. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. With that said, let's take a look at the new Nikkes first. Okay. I'm surprised that there are people comparing Rappi Red Hood and Siren. Like, isn't it obvious that it depends on the type of the solo raid? Or are you guys talking PvP? PvP, no comparison, Siren is better. Is she better by a lot? Nah, not even a lot. She is B tier, C tier. Wait, wasn't there Mori's? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is Siren skill kit. This is Mori's skill kit. Nice. Give him a moment. Fix everything first. As well as Mori. Mori, who in my opinion is the cutest tomboy Nikke waifu in existence. Fantastic stuff. However, if you look over here, you will notice that a lot of my viewers are having articulated conversations. Angry conversations about who is better. Siren? Did I say Siren just now? I said Little Mermaid. Siren or Litter? Well, let's find out what the skills are first, and then we'll get down to talking about who we think is better. Let's go. Nope, that's not it. Let's go. Little Mermaid. Type support. Actually, you know what? Let me get my arrow out real quick. Okay, here's my arrow. Alright, so here we have Little Mermaid, type supporter, weapon machine gun, submachine gun, sorry. Burst skill 1, type wind. Skill 1, bubble order. Activates only when in focusing status, activates, affects all allies, focus fire continuously. Now, what is focusing status? We don't really know for sure yet, but the prevailing opinion is that it's when you use, like, there are 5 Nikkes. You choose one and you use that character, right? If you use Little Mermaid as your main character that you're controlling, everybody will automatically focus fire. Fantastic stuff, very valuable. Activates when full burst ends, affects all allies, cooldowns of burst skills, down 7.5 seconds. Fantastic stuff, Activates when entering full burst, affects all allies, attack damage up 4% for 10 seconds. Now, 4% of attack damage up is not really very big. But, as I've said many times before, the difference between infinity and a huge ass number is a lot. Similarly, the difference between not having attack damage up and having attack damage up by a little bit is a lot as well. In the future, there may be a scenario where there's a Nikke that says like, hey, if you have attack damage up, you gain $1 billion. In that case, would you not use Little Mermaid? Yes, you would. So, similarly, attack damage up 4% is way better than not having attack damage up 4%. Also, this song is copyrighted, so don't listen to it. Okay, yep. Nope, wrong tab. Yes. Next up, we have a line that says activates each time total ammo consumed by all allies reaches 400, affects all allies, fills burst gauge up 37%. Ooh, sounds very good. Now, let's talk about ammo consumption. If you're using a machine gun character on a device that has good graphic card performance, you're probably gonna get 60 FPS, 60 ammo per second on machine guns, 20 on submachine guns, 12 on automatic rifles, and 1 on on sniper rifles and rocket launchers. It's different if you have a lower frame rate device. In that case, it almost feels as if it doesn't really matter if you choose anything other than machine guns and submachine guns. Machine guns is gonna get this job done in 6.5 seconds plus minus. And it's half the time if you have two machine gunners, and then it's 1/3 the time you have 3 machine gunners. Fantastic stuff. Doing so gives you burst gauge plus 37%. Hell yeah. On the other hand, if you have a submachine gunner, 20 bullets per second, this is gonna take 20 seconds. Half if you have 2, 1/3 if you have 3. As such, Little Mermaid is highly reliant on you having a machine gun unit because you want to burst faster. Alternatively, if you want to ignore the fuse burst gauge ability, you can use someone like Helm or Alice or Red Hood, who builds burst super duper fast. Just go there, bam 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 bam, easy, full burst, go. This ability is not absolutely necessary, but some of the future ones will be. Skill 2, Bubble Wave, activates when the enemy appears, affects the target. Now, I personally care mostly about solo raid. When the solo raid activates, Bubble takes effect immediately. So essentially, this ability, Bubble, damage taken up 5% continuously, is the equivalent of saying the entire time, your damage up 5%. That's it. Which is freaking fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Activates after landing 50 normal attacks. Affects the target if the target is in bubble status. So 2.5 seconds after the start of combat, Little Mermaid shoots 50 times. Brrrah, brrrah, brrrah. And then damage taken up 5.05% as well. However, this time she stuns the enemy for 3 seconds and then removes bubble. Very, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Activates every 1 second only during full burst. Affects random enemy units. Deals 63.36% of final attack as damage. Attacks sequentially for 4 times. Now, this ability does not stack. And the fact that it does not stack is sad. I wish it stacked. I wish Little Mermaid does big ass damage and becomes a DPS character on her own. However, this doesn't stack, so you're gonna get 63.36% of final attack as damage every second. It activates every 1 second only during full burst. What does that mean? That means that if you are using Bunny Soda on your team and you have a full burst of 15 seconds as opposed to the normal 10 seconds, Little Mermaid is gonna do big ass damage. However, take into consideration the fact that building full burst doesn't take that long. It takes usually 2.5 seconds. So that's 20% of the time you spend in the fight with the boss. Yep. Activates each time total ammo consumed by allies reaches 500. Well, obviously, if you want to hit 500 ammo, you want to be using 4 different machine gun Nikkes. At a time like this, I feel very happy. You know why? Because I have tons of machine gun characters. Hell yeah. Affects random enemy units, deals 85% of final attack as damage, attacks sequentially for 10 seconds. Now, I think the big takeaway here is this. Once you trigger her burst, you want to get as far into the fight as possible. Fight the entire thing, 10 seconds finish, build burst fast, and then burst off again so that you can do so that you can do 63.36% plus 85.0%, so that you can do 83.36% as well as 85% damage as final attack damage as quickly as possible. Fantastic stuff. This means also that over 180 seconds, aka 3 minutes, you're gonna be doing 180 seconds times 1.140%. 180 times 140. You're gonna be doing 25,000% damage using Little Mermaid over this period of time. Finally, we have Siren's burst ability, Siren's Song. Cooldown time 20 seconds, affects all allies, attack damage up 10.13%, reloads 33% of magazine. Affects self, attack up 17.28% of caster's attack for 10 seconds. Now, the thing is this. Is Little Mermaid a DPS character? Sort of. She's a sub DPS. Is she a supporter? Sort of. She's a sub supporter. Are we ever gonna get a situation where she's like literally OP and the best character in the game? No. I'll tell you right now, no. However, her ability to be a sub DPS is stated quite clearly here, and that's very nice. Next up, Siren's Song affects all allies, attack damage up 10.13%, reload 33.26% of magazines, affect self, attack up 17.28% of caster's attack for 10 seconds. Caster's attack, damage up, attack damage. These three are three different abilities that can stack on each other like multiplicatively. Boom, boom. Fantastic stuff. Now, the big question that many people have is Siren better and later? The answer simply is it depends. It very much depends. Essentially the damage formula depends a lot on elemental damage dealt. If you don't have an enemy that is wind type, water, fire, yeah, essentially if you don't have an enemy that is iron type so that you can use Little Mermaid, you're gonna be sad. Similarly, if you don't have an enemy that is electric type where you can use Lita, you're gonna be sad. Now, take into account what counters iron. Take into account the fact that Now, don't forget to take into account the fact that Little Mermaid does sustain damage buffing. Oh wait, it's not sustain damage buffing. Now, take into account the fact that Little Mermaid attacks sequentially, which is not the exact wording as continuous damage. Which does not mean the same as sustained damage. However, hopefully it means the same thing. If that's the case, Summer Rosanna is coming back. Kras is gonna be a useful character. It's hard to say for now, but I think it is gonna be a situation. Now the question is Little Mermaid better than Litter? My answer is this. It depends. Little Mermaid buffs attack damage. She buffs attack for herself. But this amount of attack is very much less than Crown's attack. So, I'm not sure, man. Why don't favor Siren's skill? Because they want you to use 4 machine guns to fully utilize her? Is that the case? 4 times 30, 120. 4 times 60, 240. I guess, yeah. Now, is Siren good? Is Little Mermaid good? It depends on what your team has. If your team doesn't have attack damage up, attack up, Siren's gonna be super duper good. However, if you have 1,000,000% of attack damage up, and then she adds 4% of attack damage up, that sucks. Similarly, if So if Lita's what's it called? So if Lita's cover buffing ability is important, Lita's gonna be way better. If Little Mermaid's attack damage buff is important, then attack damage is gonna be top tier. It really depends on who you're pairing Little Mermaid with. Next up, we also have Mori's abilities. Mori skill 1. Okay, So Mori is a tomboy girl. Her type is Defender, Weapon Assault Rifle, Burst Skill 2, Type Wind. Skill 1 activates when entering battle, affects Self Struggle. Create a shield equal to 40% of final max HP. Activates when using Burst Skill, affects Self if not in struggle status. She gains back the shield that she generated. Activates when struggle status ends. Affects Self. HP max HP up 5% continuously, stacks up to 5 times. That means that her skill 1 stacks using Winter Mika. That means that Mori's skill 1 interacts with Winter Mika. Fantastic stuff. Skill 2, All Out Support. Activates after landing 60 normal attacks, while Self is in struggle status, affects the targets. Taunt for 4 seconds. That means 2/3 of the time she's gonna be taunting, because she's gonna shoot 10 rounds per second. Very nice. Activates when the parts of any ally, including caster, are destroyed. Now, I don't feel like the need for open bracket including caster, close bracket exists. We don't need that. Alright, just standardize the text, please. Affects all Self. Sustain damage up 2%, up to 5 times, and lasts for 15 seconds. Works well with Summer Winter Mika once again. Next line. Activates when the parts of any ally, including caster, are destroyed. Affects one enemy unit with the highest attack. Deals 23% of final attack as sustained damage every 1 second for 15 seconds. Now, some of you guys probably think this is trash. I think that's pretty good, pretty cool. I like that a lot. Activates when Self is in struggle status, affects Self. Recover shield HP equal to 15.04% of the caster's final max HP. Activates when Self is not in struggle status, affects Self. Sustained damage up 10.16% for 10 seconds is what we read right at the bottom of the screen. Very, very good. So, what I find most interesting about Mori's skill kit is that she is sustained damage relevant. Do they interact? Hard to say, I don't even know. However, if you are bringing your crew of people to a fight, that is going to be a super duper useful ability. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, there you have it. That was my thoughts on the 2 new Nikkes in Goddess of Victory Nikke. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bareback toilet. So my take is this. Nope, wrong screen again. So my take is this. It all depends on the situation. Little Mermaid is gonna be better than Litter in some situations. For example, when you really need a cooldown of burst skill 7.48 seconds exactly in the first 10 seconds of the game. If you need that, Little Mermaid is going to be way better than Litter. Similarly, if Litter's gradual increase in cooldown rate is more important to the structure of the fight, then yeah, Litter is going to be better. If Litter's 55% attack damage up for 5 seconds is more important, definitely she's going to be better. If you have a burst 2 character that has attack percentage up by a lot, then Little Mermaid is going to be better. So either way, there's going to be a situation where Little Mermaid is better than Litter, and there's also going to be situations where Litter is going to be better than Little Mermaid. That being said, is Little Mermaid significantly stronger than Litter? No, she is not. She's definitely not. I think it's a side grade between Litter and Little Mermaid. Whereas when it comes to Mori, this is a very different situation. In my opinion, Mori is free Nikkes, free SSR, MLB Nikkes that appear every half anniversary. They have much less weightlifting to commit to, if that makes sense. Mori doesn't need to be an OP character. She's there mostly to help the 160 wall people get past Mori. And their job is to be fun Nikkes for older players to play with. They are not supposed to be... The free Nikkes are not supposed to be top tier of whichever burst skill they are. For example, Mori burst skill 2, she's not supposed to be better than Crown. So, it is what it is. Yep, that's all for that's all for my insights for Siren versus Mori. Let's discuss. Okay, so I'm done recording the video. Yeah, what do you guys think about Siren versus Mori? What do you guys think about Siren versus Litter is what I meant to say. Best free SSR by far. Once again, my opinion is that everything is situational. However, yes, as far as free Nikkes go, I do think Little Mermaid is quite top tier. I do think Mori is quite top tier. She seems very versatile. The fact that she can slowly build 10% sustained damage up as well is quite amazing, considering the fact that we just got Crust, and Crust is 10% sustained damage up. Mori can build up to it. Versus Ray versus Kilo. Bro, Ray and Kilo are sad Nikkes. Sad, super sad. Small White is better than Mori in my opinion. She's more versatile. She does more damage across the board. Rapunzel, Innocent Grace. I hate her, but there are situations where she's better also. Because she has the attack damage up 10%, right? It is what it is. Nikke is designed in such a way that there are situations for each Nikke to shine. That being said, I think I'm gonna get just one copy of Little Mermaid. I don't think she's top tier. No. She's top tier in that she's as good as Little, but Little Mermaid is not significantly stronger than Little. Decent buff and shielding. What kills her for vets is the missing cooldown rate. You're talking about Mori, I assume. Mori? Oh, Rapunzel. Yeah, Rapunzel is sad. Rapunzel is super duper sad. No. For me, okay, I'm a person that believes that the Nikke's job is to be fun. Okay? It's not to be top tier. Top tier, they can resolve that by saying, oh, attack damage up 1000%. Then next month, 1100%. Next month, 1200%. And then you're like, this game sucks because power creep. Right? It's not about power creeping. That's not important to players. What's important to players is the fun part of the game. And as far as Mori goes, super fun. As far as Siren goes, quite fun, I guess. I feel like she doesn't have a very specific identity. But as far as Rapunzel Innocent Grace goes, I think she sucks. You know why she sucks? Because she makes you not play the game. Having a Nikke make you not play the game sucks. You're just there looking at the health bar. Oh, it's going up. It's going down 2% per second. Oh, it's very low. I let go. And then you shoot to gain back health. And then you, it's going back down again. Rapunzel Innocent Grace is bad design. MLB her for collection purpose at least. Then what about Mihara? Siren's your wife, so you're happy that she's a hybrid support DPS. Because it justifies for you to MLB her compared to full supports. Sure, fair. That's a fair position to have. Yeah, I don't know. I feel very weird about Little Mermaid. I thought she was gonna be stronger than Little, but I'm happy that she's not stronger than Little. What about Stellar Blade? Make sure you have savings for Stellar Blade, guys. Stellar Blade is gonna pop off. Mihara? Bro, what? You're not gonna MLB Mihara? What do you mean? What do you mean? Mihara's great. She's gonna be a sustained damage DPS. Oh, I just realized Little Mermaid. Okay, so one thing that I would like to point out though is that Little Mermaid doesn't have the word sustained damage on her. They say sequentially attacks. Attacks sequentially, which is not sustained damage. And that's weird. It's like Cindy's burst. Activate. Wait, what? Really? Cindy's burst is sequentially as well? Wait. Sequentially. Okay, Cindy, Nikke, skill kit. Cinderella skill kit. Give me a moment. Yes? Oh shit! Activates every 1 second for only during full burst. Sequentially 4 times, 240% damage times 10, 2400% damage. Activates each time total ammo consumed by allies reach 500. Affects random enemy units. 85% times 10, 850%. 4 times 60 FPS, 240 FPS plus Little Mermaid, 250 FPS. No, 260 FPS. Bullets per second, BPS. Oh, I misunderstood the ability completely. Hundred 40%. Final attack as damage 63% times 4. I was wrong, guys. $250 ammo, 260 FPS, 240, 260, 500 hits. So 500 divided by 260 is 1.9 seconds. Every 1.9 seconds she does 85% times 10, 850%. 850% times 1.9. Times 5-ish. 12,000%. Yo. I started recording YouTube again. Okay, my chat just pointed out to me that I misunderstood what attacks sequentially means. And that attack sequentially is essentially the description of what Cinderella's burst skill does. I thought that it was sustained damage but multiple different enemies, so attack sequentially. Boop, 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 boop. Make sense? But after they point out that Cinderella has attacked sequentially 4 times, holy fuck. Holy fuck. Every time you full burst, it takes less than 2 seconds to trigger this ability. Slightly less than 2 seconds. Assuming your entire team is machine gun, it will trigger this. This thing hits 10 times. 85% times 10, 850%. 5 times during a full burst, 4,000 plus percent. Every 1 second during full burst, she does 240%. 63 times 4, 240% every 1 second. So another 2400%. So she does 7000 odd percent damage during the full burst. And that's not including her normal attack. That's also not including her attack damage up 4%. That's not including her personal increase of attack of 17%. That's not including her attack damage up 10%. Which means, essentially, she's gonna hit like 80-90% of Cinderella's damage as a burst 1. Holy shit. That's crazy. Pretty high normal attack multipliers. 10%. Isn't that normal for submachine gun? Let me check. Let me check real quick. Also, don't look at my hentai tags. Nope. She's gonna do pretty much the same amount of damage as Cinderella if Cinderella doesn't have her whole team buffing her. Lita is 8.7% in 8.7, huh? In comparison, 8,700% damage. 8.7. Am I misunderstanding something? This reads insane. 8.7% normal attack. I see. Let me check real quick, okay? I would take your word for it, but I'm the kind of person that likes making sure that I fact check myself before I say a thing on a video. Submachine gun. Also, only 200% core damage? No, 200% is... normal. Little Mermaid, 250%. What the fuck? Okay, sort by submachine gun. .06%. Hit the record button again. Alright, my chat has just pointed out to me this little discrepancy. Affected targets deals damage 10.12% of attack as damage. Holy shit. Now, Modernia is still in use. Modernia is a machine gunner that does 7 point something% damage as damage. And when you compare to other normal machine gunners, they do 5 point something% as damage. Modernia has a 50% buff over her colleagues. Little Mermaid, her 10.12% of attack as damage is double of other normal submachine gun users. Holy shit. Other normal submachine gun users do 5.06% of attack as damage. Also, most Nikkes deal 200% damage when attacking core. Little Mermaid does 250%. I take back everything I say in this video. Little Mermaid is gonna be better and later. Little Mermaid is insane. She's a DPS character in the burst 1 slot. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. The power creep is real. Okay, I stopped recording. Holy fuck! Double the damage of a normal submachine gunner, plus cooldown rate 7.5 seconds, plus attack damage up 4%, plus burst gauge generating, plus damage taken up 5% on boss, plus personal attack up 17%, plus attack damage up 10.13%. What the fuck? Plus reloads 33%. Holy shit. But she's SMG. Yeah. Am I misunderstanding this? %240 times 10, 2400%. This 85 times 10, 850. 850 times 5, 4000%. She's a supporter, not an attacker. True. But based on what I am hearing from this, based on what I'm reading right now, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Chat, how? Huh? Am I misunderstanding this? Okay, she focused fire the entire time. What's that worth? Not much. On bosses, not much. Burst skill cooldown, 7.5%. That's worth huge. Entering full burst affects all allies, attack damage up 4%. Activates each time, total ammo consumed 400. Does 37% burst gauge. Wait, why? If I'm reading this right, compared to Rapi? No, don't compare to Rapi, compare to Liter. Personal damage? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, Little Mermaid is busted. What the hell? Okay, we'll talk about Mori no more. Little Mermaid is busted. can charge burst insanely fast to the point where you need another cooldown rate to make use of it. What the fuck? Fuse burst rage gauge at 37% over 400 shots. Let's say machine gunners running non-stop full speed. 4 times 24, 240 shots per second plus herself 20. So, and then double. I don't think she's gonna burst faster than... I don't think you need another cooldown rate character, Drew. I might be wrong, but yeah, I don't... You can also see Siren as off burst for super fast bursting with Litter. Bruh. Oh my god, is there a subscribe? Wait. What's up, This Beat Gaming? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate it. How is she? Wait, what? Okay, so the downside of Little Mermaid is that she does not give attack up to her allies. Little gives 55% attack up. Now, if you only have Crown, who's better? Little Mermaid. However, Crown gives like 70% of her personal attack to her friends. And that's pretty good too. Oh, check this out. The number one comment, the top comment is, are you sure you have sent skills level 10? Because these skills are so weak, they look like level 1. Bro is wrong, objectively wrong. Super duper wrong. %, damage dealt is way more than attack percentage, and Blanc has 40% dealt. What's your point? What? Blanc is a burst too. Bro, are you... Huh? 3% damage from skill 1, 10% damage from burst, 5% damage taken from skill 2 on top of cooldown rate, ammo refill, extra burst gen, personal damage which is high for an SMG, not to mention extra damage her skill 2 is gonna be doing. Nah, this guy is objectively wrong. Wrong. What are the Twitter people talking about? Objectively wrong. Are they dumb? You never trust those peasants. True. Everyone, what's up? Hello. Holy crap, Little Mermaid is wild. Blanc meta? No. You're not pairing Little Mermaid with Blanc. Little Mermaid has attack damage up here. So, think of it this way. The difference you make by introducing a new element between elemental damage dealt, elemental advantage, attack damage up, attack up, damage taken up. Each new element you add to the equation increases drastically. Let me explain to you why. When you attack damage up 10% to something that already has like 1,000,000% attack damage up, it becomes 1,010% damage up. If you make it 1,000,000% attack up and 10% attack damage up, then it becomes 1,100,000% effective damage up. When you stack same buffs, the effect is additive. When you stack different buffs, the effect is multiplicative. So, do not put attack damage up with attack damage up. Put attack damage up with attack up, or damage taken up, or elemental damage dealt as strong element up. Those things will synergize and the damage output will be like way higher. But Jasper's 40% is 40%. True. But the difference is this. When you do additive, right? If you have like, let's say a really high attack percentage and you add 40% on top of that, you're not adding 40% total damage output out. You're just affecting it by this percentage times this percentage, if that makes sense. It's better to have 3 effects with 50% than 1 effect with 150%. Yes, correct. Super correct. Yes, multiplicative. It's a multiplicative effect rather than an additive effect. Correct, everyone. Correct. Yeah. Little Mermaid is super busted. And she will benefit the most from attack percentage up. Whose attack percentage up? Crown. Oh, if you use her off burst as a burst, you know the flex slot, you use Little Mermaid. She doesn't even need to burst herself. I just realized. She doesn't need to burst herself. She can just be a DPS unit. The fuck? The fuck? Normally the flex slot, the flex slot is either taken by Modernia or Ludmilla. Little Mermaid is now applicable for the flex slot. You can combine her with Little. Exactly. You are catching on? Nah. You making it sound like I didn't understand that? Nah. What I didn't understand is this. The attacks sequentially for 4 times. I thought it meant attacking 4 different enemies. 1 per second. But saying that it attacks sequentially for 4 seconds means she hits 4 times in 1 second. That changes everything. I didn't realize Cinderella had the same wording. Who's your B2, B3? B2 is Crown, B3 is Rapi Red Hood, Asuka, Modernia. Or somebody that enables Crown, so Soda? What does Soda do again? Soda, Nikke, Skill Kit. (180) normal attacks. Max HP up, stacks up to 5 times. Affects all allies. recover HP by this much every 12 seconds, huh? It's either soda or naga. No, soda or liter. Yeah, soda or liter. Sorry, I meant treasure helm, not liter. Not liter, treasure helm. Also, did you guys notice this? There's this hidden detail in the art that showcases that Little Mermaid is part of Old Tales. You know what it is? Butt fangs. Little Mermaid has butt fangs. Cinderella has butt fangs. They're both part of Old Tales. Damn. Butt fangs. Flora doesn't trigger the crown buff. Yeah, true. We have thought it's a twin tail. Oh, twin. Oh, I didn't notice. So sorry. So sorry, Ramek. I didn't notice she had twin tails. I just noticed the butt fangs. Yep, my bad, my bad. And I also heard that they are part of the same storyline, the Old Tales storyline. But I'm not sure about that. What I am sure about, butt fangs. Gotta have butt fangs. Does Grave have butt fangs? Yes, Grave probably has butt fangs. Butt fangs is a signature part of Old Tales. That being said, she doesn't synergize with Cinderella. Sad. So sad. Damn. This is... Damn. This is wild. Alright, this is wind type. Will you use her with Asuka? Probably yes, right? Noir increases max ammo cap. She does, but the problem is that Noir doesn't trigger this ability as much. I kinda get the feeling that the half anniversary story won't have the resolution you want it to. What resolution do you want it to have? That Little Mermaid meets Leviathan and then they're like, I was alive all along. You were alive all along? I've missed you. And then they make out and they swap speed. Nah. You want Siren and Cindy to see each other? Nope, not happening. Kraken team is most likely Siren, Crown, Asuka, SBS, Mana. Probably, yeah. Bruh. What do you mean, bruh? How do you know that? How do you know that Drew didn't want to see Little Mermaid and Leviathan make out? You acting like you knew all along, Air One. That's not true. You didn't know, right? Bruh again? Bro's lying to himself. You thought it, I thought it, everybody thought it, alright? Damn. In denial. Just because you're a degen doesn't mean you can lie, okay? Does Mana's healing trigger Crown's buff? I think so. Let me read Mana's healing. Mana Nikke skill kit. as long as she is in Metal Sigma and she lands 10 normal attacks, it will trigger. Yes. Who's everybody? Everybody's everybody. Everybody knows. Little Crown, Rapid Red Hood, Mana, Siren. Little Crown, Rapid Red Hood, Mana, Siren. I feel like Siren's team at the end of the day is gonna be 2 DPS machine gunners, Crown, Siren, and a healer. Oh, I guess it's Mana. I don't know. I don't think Lita and Siren are gonna be in the same team. Mana doesn't really fit there. No, Mana does. Mana does in the way that she affects crowns on healing ability. What is this song? This is Mind Over from level 9. Mind over matter, mind over matter. But her value is pretty low compared to someone like Helm. Like the healing value. We will have to test. The main concern is this total ammo consumed by allies reach 500. Because Helm is a very slow character. 1 shot per second versus 10 shots per second. Or is it 12? 12 shots per second. You got 240 shots going off. No, sorry, 230 shots going off over there. 190 shots going off over there. Plus they will make 200 shots. 2.5 seconds trigger one time. Or if you use it with Helm instead, then it's every 2.5. Oh, it's about the same. We have to test it out, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah. Either way, Little Mermaid OP. Fantastic. 10 upon 10. 10 upon 10 Nikke. Might even will replace Lita. Mori on the other hand is a very interesting character. She enters battle, she struggles, creating a shield worth 40% of her final max HP. Then when she bursts, she creates another shield worth 40% of her final max HP. Unless she's not in struggle status. Oh, unless she is in struggle status, then she gains 5 maximum HP. Am I gonna MLB her? I will pull 1 copy and then I will see how good Mihara is and then I'll decide. I'll decide whether I MLB one of these girls or the Stellar Blade collab. Don't know yet. Mori seems good to me. Like, this ability specifically activates when the parts of an ally including caster are destroyed. Affects all allies, sustain damage up 2%. Makes me think you could run her with Mika Snow Buddy. Or even... Who is the wind stack count buffer? Is it Guilty? I think it's Guilty, right? Mori should be useful with a lot of shield casters. It is, yes. Using Mori with Guilty. I don't know. I don't know. One thing I realized is that if you think about it, right, Nikke is a very well designed game. The F2P players get tools to survive. The whales get tools to do more damage. Love it. Absolutely love it. Also, the fact that Mori improves sustain damage more than Crust is wild. Hey, what's up, Unray? Mori buffs sustain damage double of what Crust does. The team must have shields applied and destroyed constantly during the fight to trigger her second skill. Sure. Yeah. That's the downside of Mori. Is Mori better than Crust? Probably not. Is Mori better than Summer Rosanna? Probably not. Is Mori cute as fuck? Yes, she is. Is Mori gonna be the new top tier B2 Nikke? No, she's not. But with her, you probably can set up a full team of sustained damage characters. Oh, is Mori better than Rosanna? No. No. Oh, Nidio heading off so early. Good night, Nidio. Sustained damage up 20% is wild. Then own self deal for sustained damage. You love Mori's design? Hell yeah. I think Mori is super cute. Also, the way she eats the bread for lunch. Let me pull it up. Boop 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 boop. Wait, what? Luna Magen just uploaded the episode 0, episode 1 recap. Okay, I open new tab for this. Okay, let's check this out. What was I? Sustain damage. Okay, sustain damage. Rosanna, Nikke. Nope, that's not it. Summer Rosanna. Is it this? Okay, here we go. Summer Rosanna, sustain damage up 20% right off the bat. Damage taken up 32% right off the bat. Time to listen to another episode about TCGs I don't play anymore. Wait, what? I mean... Okay, Plateaus, I see what you're saying. But going backwards, I don't feel as triggered. Actually, I just realized, how is Summer Rosanna's skill kit so well written? It's so short, so simple, to the point. My recommendations.
Nolly, question.
Okay.
You mean Yu-Gi-Oh! and MTG? Let's see what Guitar Rock's opinion on this is.
Hey, what is up guys, Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. If you guys are not aware, they just released Little Mermaid's skill kit, and then we're gonna have a look at it together and give you guys my thoughts about it as well, right? Because she's going to be the half anniversary pilgrim. Now keep in mind, there will be two characters, alright? Not just Little Mermaid, but we're gonna have Mihara Overspec as well, coming later. So if you are not satisfied with her skill kit, then perhaps you might have to consider waiting, because both of them will have different roles.
Simo's funny.
Little Mermaid right here, she is going to be a supporter. She's a burst one as well. And as you can see right there, that's going to be her full burst. So I wouldn't expect too much out of her. But again, we're going to dive into the skill kit after this and have a look at it together.
What do you mean you don't expect much out of her? She's insane.
Okay, so as you can see right here, this is going to be her skill kit, the entire thing. Alright, she is going to be, like I mentioned, burst 1, supporter, submachine gun, and wind. Alright, so I'm going to make some comparisons between her and a few other characters as well as we go on with this. Hopefully give you guys a better idea of what she can do. So with that, now a submachine gun is going to be quite unique. That means she's going to be in the same realm of Lita and the gang, but she has a pretty decent multiplier right there as well. So not too bad right there, right? But what is important is about her element. Her being wind, that means... Like usually for supporter, it doesn't really matter that much, alright? But I feel like she can also be a little bit of a sub DPS. Now that's going to be dependent on how much damage she can do and output by herself overall. Now as you can see right here, her skill 1, her passive skill, alright? Activates when in focusing, so affects all allies. Now focus fire. This is going to be very interesting, right? That means she most likely will be able to apply focus fire.
Alright chat, in before, focus fire continuously is the OP part of the ability. And then we are all like, damn, we didn't see this coming.
Regardless of whether
I saw it coming.
So I think that's pretty cool. And that's going to basically give you an advantage if you're trying to destroy a parts, you know, or something faster than you should. Now the downside is maybe like in when you're shooting the red circles, where sometimes you don't want your rocket launcher to shoot, right? But you can also take cover at the same time. So try to alleviate that by having your other Nikkes taking cover, so that she's the only one firing, or only one Nikke is firing, right? But here's the cool thing, right? She has CDR. Now I think this is going to be very, very cool. 7.48%.
That's a lot.
This is going to be the highlight of her kit. Now this 7.48%, it's decent, alright? So comparatively, if you look at other burst 1 CDR, for example, we got a Rouge, right? Everybody knows a Rouge 1 is going to be 7 seconds right here. So as you can see, hers is a little bit better. We also have characters like D Killer Wife, which also has CDR in her kit. And D Killer Wife's one is going to be, I think, around 7 seconds as well at level 10, right? Mine is not level 10 yet for this skill. Now activates when entering full burst, affects all allies. So she got an attack damage right here for 4%. Very, very cool. So this means that whenever you enter full burst, 4% increase in attack damage is going to be what she's going to provide. And one more...
Can I just say, 4% is great. It's infinitely better than 0%. Just by math. Just math-wise, infinitely better. But he said it's very, very cool. Nah, I wouldn't go that far, bro. Very, very cool is like infinitely better than infinite. It's cool at best.
The thing is, activates every time total ammo consumed by allies reaches 400. So affects all allies. So she's gonna have the ability to
1 plus 0.04 equals 1.04 is S. Nah. Let me explain to you what's the difference between 0 and 4. Alright? You take 4, you divide by 0, that's infinite, that's undefined. That's how big 4% is. If it said attack damage up 0.01%, I will say like, whoa, that's huge. Because 0.01 divided by 0 is infinite as well. Having something is better than not having it. When was the last time you look into your bank account and you're like, damn, I have 0. Thank God I don't have 0.04. Nah, it's infinite, bro.
Feel burst gauge by 37%.
Infinitely better.
Now another character that have a similar skill kit to her. So Grave has this, as you can see right here, 38,
True.
almost 39%. Alright,
True.
burst gauge feeling speed right there. Alright, this is going to be at level 10 as well. So if you look at that, it's quite comparable again. 37%, 39%, really comparable.
Everyone,
so she's going to have
it's
something
okay, I get it.
that another character in the
I'm
game
glad I
has.
helped.
And I wonder if you can stack both of them. If you can, that will be quite cool. That means you are going to be able to burst way more often, and it's going to be quite interesting. But looking at the ammo requirements right here, where she has to reach.
Now, okay, some of you guys might think I'm just memeing around. Let me explain to you why I think attack damage up 4% is infinitely better than attack damage 0%. Up 0%. In the future, there's going to be a Nikke that says like, when you receive attack damage up buff, you do something. Just like how Crown has, when you apply healing, you do something. When that day comes, Siren is going to be applicable for it. But a normal Nikke that has 0 is not going to be applicable for it. So this is infinitely better than not having it at all. Yep. That's the logic behind it.
The number, you might have to pair her with machine gun as opposed to
like Brady states?
other,
Yeah, exactly.
other types of guns, right? So that's going to be for skill 1. Overall, so far, not bad. Skill 2, now she has an ability to increase damage taken by 5%. Now this 5% is going to be very interesting. So notice it says here, when enemy appears, right? Affects the target. Now this is going to be very interesting because the skill description right here is going to be quite different compared to some characters. One, for example, like Viper has something very similar.
But keep in mind that that 4% up is not very cool. It is just cool. Okay, yeah, that's important to note.
Where hers is when the target appears, right? Specifically, I think it's mentioned right here. This is going to be the one. Activates when the target appears. Affects all allies. But hers is activate when the enemy appears. So I'm not sure if this is going to be applicable in PvP as well or not.
Huh. Is target and enemy different? Interesting.
Because for Viper's one is only going to affect the boss most likely, alright, which is the main target. So if the minions appear, it doesn't affect them. But I think this one is going to affect all of the enemy that appears regardless, right? Now if you land 50 normal attacks, the target in the bubble status, which you are going to be able to do when they appear, is going to get another 5% continuously. Alright, stuns for 3 seconds and removes the bubble. Now so far, this is going to be the damage taken. It doesn't add up, it's 5%, you remove the previous one and then you get another 5%. So she's gonna have a 5% damage taken amplification, which is not bad, but if you look at the value compared to other Nikkes, I just want to bring you guys to some attention right here, right? So if you talk about damage taken, Blanc is going to be the one that everybody is going to talk about, right? So if you look at Blanc's one, Blanc has really high right here, 35.
Skill 1 is so it is future proof for when we use her off burst. True. The true strength of her kid are the friends we make along the way. True. Exactly. It is to empower the friends we make along the way. Exactly.
Damage taken for 10 seconds. Alright, now keep in mind, this is 10 seconds. And then we have another character, for example, Swimsuit Rosanna. Again, she's a limited character, but she also have a very similar skill kit right here.
I think my swimsuit Rosanna is built almost exactly the same as Guitar Rock's swimsuit Rosanna. Let me check real quick. Rosanna. Oh no, mine is slightly less built than his.
Rosanna. Again, she's a limited character.
So his is 4000. OL normal. Mine is OL, normal, normal, normal. Both of us are like, we worked on it halfway and then we are like, okay, good enough.
But she also have a very similar skill kit right here. Damage taken increased by
Comparing B1 buff to B2 buff,
29%
yeah,
for 10 seconds.
It's not the same.
Now, for Little Mermaid right here, we have 5%.
Comparing a B1 buff to a B2 buff is like saying, the curry that I ate is not as sweet as the dessert I ate. Like, bro, curry is curry, dessert is dessert, it's different things. They're both food, yes, but it's different things.
But this is continuously. That means it's going to last the entire battle rather than only during bursts. So I do think that this might be, in the long run, this is probably going to be on par with those other numbers that we see from Blanc and Swimsuit Rosanna. But that's going to be something they will have to test, right? Because this is going to mean that this is permanent as opposed to every time when you burst for 10 seconds only. Now the stun is going to be interesting as well. Not sure how useful that is because stun is going to be something that I'm not sure if it can affect bosses or not. It's also going to be dependent on the bosses as well, right?
So there's one Nikke that is very, very attentive at stun, which is Privati. Privati Nikke skill kit. She has an ability that's like okay, it's not showing up here. Let's switch back. And then I switch it on my phone. Burst 3. Where is Privati? Privati has an ability that if last round hits a target and they are stunned, she does 940% of final attack as damage. Sometime in the future, when we can stun bosses, this is gonna pop off and it's gonna be insane. But as always, we don't have it yet. It's not here yet.
Boss, you don't really need to stun them. So activates every 1 second during full burst, affects random enemy.
Last one we got was Rouge, who was mostly a HP buffer for Cindy. True. True. Burst ones tend to be smaller numbers.
So deal 63.36% of final attack as damage. Attack sequentially 4 times. Alright, this is pretty cool. Similar to Cinderella's ultimate. Sequentially means that you can hit 4 times. If there's only one enemy, you will hit the same one enemy 4 times. Very, very strong if you're fighting one boss, but if there's a lot of enemy on the map, it might not be as prominent, right? Now activates each time total ammo consumed by allies reaches 500. Affects random enemy units. Bubble Barrage, alright, deals 85% of final attack as damage and attacks sequentially for 10 times. Again, this is going to be very, very strong. If there's one enemy on the map, that means you can multi-hit them multiple times, but if there's plenty of enemies, it's going to hit them randomly. You can't really control who to hit. That's going to be how it is, right? This is how.
In the future, there will be a double machine gunner, and it's going to be OP. Privati treasure, please. Privati is not weak enough to have a treasure, unfortunately.
How the skill works. Now, skill 3. Alright, the burst skill rather. She's a 20 seconds cooldown, burst 1. Now, she's going to have another attack damage right here. Alright, 10% right here. So that means on the skill 1, we already have 4% right there. So plus this one is going to be 14%, right?
Holy,
and then 14? She can also reload 33.26% of magazine. Now, this reload 33.26% of magazine, you might think like this is pretty good, right? On machine gun characters, this is pretty good, and it is really, really good. But we already have one character that can do that, and she is very, very strong if you pair her with machine gun characters, and that is going to be Noah. Alright, Noah already has that ability. If you guys are not aware, you look at this particular skill right here, skill 2, reloads 36.8% magazine. This is at skill level 8. We're already getting 36.87%, whereas for Siren, she's getting 33%, which is a little bit less, not the highest so far. And then you can last but not least is the attack. She's gonna have 17.28% of caster's attack for 10 seconds right here. Alright, so she is going to have that particular one leaning towards that's going to be the total buff in terms of the attack buff, right? Now, if you think about it, right, let's list down all the things that she can do. I think like if you look at the buffs overall, it might seem unimpressive because right now, this is all the things that she can do, right? So she has 7.5 seconds CDR, alright? She can feel burst gauge 37%.
To be clear, 7.5% CDR is insane. It is nothing to sniff at.
Now there's an asterisk right there because it requires you to reach a certain requirements of ammo, right? 400 ammo consumed by allies. Again, doable for sure. Stuns 3 seconds, 5% damage taken, again, 14% attack damage, and the 17.28% caster's attack boost. So let's just bring these two into the highlight first, right? I'm going to like push this down, and we're just gonna talk about these two.
I wonder if Ray Iron Army tentative name is gonna be good with. It's gonna be good with Asuka, Willy, and Mihara.
For now, right? I can see why some players think that she is bad, or some players have the perception that she is bad due to these two numbers right here.
Cooldown rate.
And let me clarify a little bit. Another character that we have that was last year's anniversary literally was Crown. If you compare to Crown, this number is going to seem extremely measly. Now first up is the 17.28% caster's attack boost. So that's going to be pretty much how much attack boost she has. Now Crown is going to give you 64% caster's attack. Way higher, right? In terms of the multiplier, 17 and 64%, big difference, right? In terms of 14% attack damage boost, which is what Siren has, Crown will be able to give you 20% right here, alright? And then another 36% right here. So 36% plus 20%, that's like 50% attack damage boost. Whereas compared to Crown, she only gives 14% attack damage boost. You can see why these two numbers, when you compare
Siren,
to
the fire
Crown,
team with
I think
Rocky,
Crown just...
Ray,
her number is
Modernia.
way more insane, right? So I can see why, from the
And
perspective of just looking at the numbers itself, people are going to say that Siren is a bit lackluster, right? She might be a bit lacking in terms of her
Rapunzel?
buffs.
Nah.
But then again, she has all of these other things, which again, CDR is pretty cool, alright? There's a lot of characters that already has that. She is going to add to the addition of that as well. The Fierce Burst Gauge is going to be pretty cool, but again, she is going to require another type of character, which is going to be probably be machine gun character, because you are going to need to consume a bunch of ammo. So she has these two requirements.
Wait,
right?
Rapunzel doesn't affect anything that Siren does. Why would you think that Rapunzel is OP? Oh, only if they have a 60-second cooldown rate. Alright, got it.
400 ammo consumed by allies is going to fill a burst gauge by 37%, and if 500 ammo consumed by allies will basically do random attack to 10 random enemy units and attack sequentially for 10 times. Now,
Okay, we almost sidetracked from the fact that she has butt fangs. Butt fangs. Let's go.
those two requirements are going to make it a little bit harder for new players to be able to utilize her as an anniversary character.
True.
If you are a new player, you're coming into this, you are going to need machine gun characters. Right now, the meta for machine gun characters is going to be Crown herself, Rapi Red Hood, which can be used for burst 1 or burst 3. You also got Modernia, you also have Asuka Willy, which is a previous recent character as well. So in terms of the burst 3, these are the machine gun characters, but the meta one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much, right? This 4 is going to be... Rey is also meta, but she's more for fire team. Out of these 5, 3 of them are limited characters. 2 of them are going to be pilgrims. So it's going to be really, really hard for a new player to be able to make like a team
SMG units
and fully benefit
she's
Siren's
gonna be good.
capabilities of maximizing the ammo requirements thing, right? So that's going to be one of the complaints that I have. Right, even for burst 2, right, we got Crown. If you don't have Crown, I guess you can use a romantic mask, but even then she's gonna need the main anchor. If not, then I guess Diesel is okay, but she's not really meta. Alec is alright, but you can see the struggle right here. I think building a team for a lot of new players that are pulling for her is going to be a struggle, which I can see where the complaints are coming from. Personally, I do think that she is going to be a little bit less flexible.
Worse than Dorothy? What do you mean worse than Dorothy? She's great.
Now, if there's a selector
Dorothy is
given
fantastic.
out between you to pick Little Mermaid or Crown, I'll probably lean towards Crown. But I do think that she probably is going to act more like a sub DPS herself. She's going to be able to do a decent damage based upon the impression that I have between this particular skill 2 right here, where she can attack sequentially for the enemy, 63% here and 85% there. So that combined together is going to do a decent damage. That's probably going to make up for the lack of being able to give insane buffs like Crown, and also, you know, flexibility is going to be much more prominent. Now, all in all, do I think Little Mermaid right here, is she a good pull? I still feel like for most players, if you care about Pilgrim, definitely she's going to be a solid one. I don't see why you wouldn't want to try to get her. I would say still try to get at least one copy. However, if you are looking to save or wait a little bit between the comparison between Little Mermaid and the next character, which is Mihara, overspec, that is a DPS character because she's a burst tree. Most likely, for a lot of players who are intermediate-ish, there's a high chance that you are going to look towards that as a whole, right? Especially if you miss out on Rapi Red Hood. Now for now, definitely I would wait a little bit and test her out and see how it goes. If you're only looking at her at just pure buffing, that's going to be how it is. But if you're looking for her to fill your role in terms of doing a little bit damage as well, and if you are a veteran player, you have all the machine gun characters, you should definitely consider getting her. She's going to help you do more damage with your solo raid steam comp, alright? You are going to have that 5 burst 1 CDR character that will help you consecutively, right? So yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think as well regarding Siren. What do you guys think of a skill kit? Are you guys happy with it, or does it feel a little bit lacking? As per usual, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Wait, I didn't hear the last part.
Particular skill 2 right here, where she can attack sequentially for the enemy, 63% here and 85% there.
Pause
so
the
that
video.
combined together is going to do a decent damage. That's probably going to make up
Getting
for the
empty chest rings,
lack
ceramic,
of
yeah.
being able to give insane buffs like Crown, and also, you know, flexibility is going to be much more prominent.
Yes.
Now, all in all, do I think Little Mermaid right here, is she a good pull? I still feel like for most players, if you care about Pilgrim, definitely she's going to be a solid one.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't want to try to get her. I would say still try to get at least one copy. However, if you are looking to save or wait a little bit between the comparison between Little Mermaid and the next character, which is Mihara, overspec, that is a DPS character because she's a burst tree. Most likely, for a lot of players who are intermediate-ish, there's a high chance that you are going to look towards that as a whole, right? Especially if you miss out on Rapi Red Hood. Now for now, definitely I would wait a little bit and test her out and see how it goes. If you're only looking at her at just pure buffing, that's going to be how it is. But if you're looking for her to fill your role in terms of doing a little bit damage as well, and if you are a veteran player, you have all the machine gun characters, you should definitely consider getting her. She's going to help you do more damage with your solo raid steam comp, alright? You are going to have that 5 burst 1 CDR character that will help you consecutively, right? So yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think as well regarding Siren. What do you guys think of a skill kit? Are you guys happy with it, or does it feel a little bit lacking? As per usual, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Alright, so that was Guitar Rock's opinion on Siren. Let's check out Sky's opinion now.
So I was just holding left click, right? And obviously they're core 7, so it's a bit faster, but I was kind of taking it easy. Rapi is currently doing 552 right now, and this is a 3 MG team, but technically if we replace Rapi with Little Mermaid, then it would be just a 2 MG team. Doesn't have any much other attack source other than Crown, but then Crown would buff Little Mermaid a little bit more. So if we look at it and then give Little Mermaid 100% elemental, let's go 70% elemental plus 20% from cube plus 10% from the default. So basically plus 100% elemental. She would do ×2, so Little Mermaid would do, not counting, or maybe counting Crown's buff, it'll be like 1 bill, maybe between 1 bill to 1.5 bill, at least for me. if
gonna
it
do
is
one
similar
bill.
investments as like my Rappi. With that in mind,
What do you mean she's gonna do
then,
1 bill?
Yeah, I would do the fight a lot faster, and that's with 2 MG. So that's how she would affect this Kraken team, because at the very least, like based on just a rough paper math calculation, this is just I just counted during full burst or anything, but I didn't count like self attack buffs, overloads, and other attack buffs. Rappi only kind of did 53, right? Like this is just the default, but then Siren was doing 55 with 2 MG, and again, I didn't count a lot of the other things there, right? I didn't count the attack damage, caster's attack that Rappi's providing, but Siren, if you compare it with here, she has a damage taken, doesn't have a caster's attack for the team though, but then there's the attack damage.
I wish I had potato chips
take
right
that
now.
as how you may in terms of the buff difference.
I don't have potato
But then
chips right
Siren
now.
also has a self-attack buff for herself that they didn't count. But at the very least, like if we're just looking, so what I calculated here is I multiplied just the basic attack, weapon attack multiplier, how much bullets per second, and then like the skill 2 from Rappi, and then same with Little Mermaid, the basic attack, and then her skill 2. It's gonna come out that Siren and Rappi are basically closely similar in terms of like B1 damage. Now, however much Siren is buffing, that's gonna be a different factor. It's gonna affect different setups very differently depending on what buffs are available. Safe to say that I think Sirens / Little Mermaid's DPS is
Every
gonna be
anniversary is a
roughly
math cost.
similar,
Yeah.
or at least that's what we can expect.
Close to Rappi
is
damage,
probably
higher.
Rappi's DPS level. So even though like her damage numbers are kind of on the lower end, it is a little bit more closer to she is like a DPS B1. Now there are other things that Little Mermaid is trying to provide, right? She is a wind advantage, so there's that. Pretty much like gonna replace volume at this rate. She's a supporter, so her base attack is 80%, roughly 80% of an attacker. Like her potential is a little bit more on the lower end. However, it kind of makes up for it because she has higher multipliers because thanks to her like skill 2. But the skill 2 has a little bit of conditional thing about us, and that is it's something about consuming ammos. And let's start talking about it a little bit. First things first is her basic attack is equal to like just the standard SMG. There are some units that are at 10.12%. In particular, Epinel is one of them.
Epinel.
But roughly
Epinel.
standard MG is like 8 to 10% SMG. That is 8 to 10% attack damage, but they're shooting at 20 bullets per second. The skill 1 though, let's try to break it down a little bit, and we have seen this already in the JP. So the focusing status and focuses fire, in case you're just kind of wondering in it, and how I kind of just understood it also is this is just them trying to define what we are doing already. It's a mechanic in Nikke already. So focusing is like when we're trying to shoot and aim. That's how I have understood this, and that's how it would likely be as well. So this is in the shooting position, so this is likely the focusing status when
never use
she's
Rappi Hood as
aiming.
burst 1.
That's where the unit and focus fire is
That's
when
wild.
we're in full burst and every
She's
unit
good as a
is
burst 1.
following where we're shooting. So that's kind of how we understood it. Next is the full burst cooldown reduction. This is similar to Rappi Red Hood 7.48. That is something that we kind of have identified as well already, that she was doing 7 seconds
Usually
of
pair her a
cooldown.
little.
I would assume that this would
Fair.
be scaling, so it would start at 5 seconds, scaling upwards to 7.48. So it is very highly likely that skill 1 is a high priority just because of the cooldown burst, and likely because of how we want to achieve some certain things that I will tell in a few. Attack damage, so there's entering full burst affects allies, there's attack damage 4%, but again, this might seem like a piss ass number, but when you think about it, maybe what if they start releasing like a damage taken increase burst to on burst damage instead, right? So and maybe it might start
Infinitely
opening there's
better.
maybe some more DPSs that are attack damage related, and maybe
4%
burst
damage
to
out
attack
is infinitely
buffers
better.
instead are gonna be worth more, because this time around she is not providing any attack boost instead. So that's something to consider. It's just a different kind of team building that might end up working out with her. So the next one is the activates each time total ammo is consumed by allies, which reaches 400. And this is the first part that really indicates us why does she want machine guns. It's total ammo consumed by allies, which is 400, and so you have to fill the burst gauge. It gives like a huge fill in burst gauge. We actually have seen it in the... So we have seen this fill burst gauge increase like immediately around this part in the video, in the Nikke EN video. You'll take a look at here on the burst, see how immediately it will increase. Right there, there's like a huge jump in the burst gauge.
Holy.
So that's what, like, that filled burst gauge there. So when there's like a lot of ammo consumed, which likely is for machine guns, then you will get that burst gauge increase. Now we did some calculation in it. How do you get this? Because that will be a 1 burst gauge likely, right? So if we want to reach this cooldown reduction 7.48, if you think about it, so 20 seconds of cooldown minus 7.48, so there's 12.52 seconds minus 10 because of the duration of full burst.
Duration of
You
full
have
burst.
2.52 seconds so that you can catch this cooldown reduction. So your goal is to, for 400 within 2.5
Nah,
seconds,
KMA, you're
you
wrong.
want to reach the consumption of 400 ammo. But with that means that for each second you should be shooting around 160 bullets per second, which is achievable if you actually do 1 machine gun plus another machine gun plus at least 2 more submachine guns. So that will get you enough. So I would say the minimum team combination would be at least like 2 submachine guns and 2 machine guns if you want to reach this cooldown reduction. Now there are, there's different other
30 FPS players.
combinations that you can
Is that
do.
a thing?
The more machine guns,
Are there
the
such
better,
people?
because
Nah,
at the very
nah.
least, like, you're trying to make sure that you can reach that 400 at least within that cooldown reduction duration. So at least 2 MGs is like the
Yes?
preferred with
What do you
Siren,
mean?
so that you're not like taking too long on the burst in gap in between. So that's what skill 1 is. Skill 2, moving on to that, is it
Damn,
gives,
he only
like,
covered skill
damage
1.
taken increase. So that's like the debuff
The other
that
phone?
we saw
Nah, that's a
on
brick.
their live stream. And then after 50 normal attacks, you will do that bubble status. So I don't think this stacks, so it should be just straightforward that it's like 5.05%. And again, it might seem like it's low, but that's because it's just a different multiplier. Just there's just a lot of other factors in. One thing is, like, no other units are likely gonna be giving this multiplier if she is in there. So that's one thing that to keep in mind. It might seem low, well, it is. There are some people that were saying, like, affects when the enemy appears, affects the target is this, and then there's a stun for 3 seconds. And I swear to God, whenever you guys
Wait,
see
the
the
Dism
word
is a 30
stun, you're
FPS
like,
gang
is this
too?
good for PvP? Is this good for PvP?
Damn. I'm so sorry.
I did this likely isn't gonna be for PvP because yes, it says enemy appears and affect the target. The target is usually the boss or the main objective of what you need to kill to clear the stage. So likely it's not gonna be for PvP. Again, people are thinking about it, but probably not. And even then, even if it's for PvP, what that means is, let's just assume, I will entertain you guys that saying, oh, it's gonna be used for PvP. With 30 FPS, SMG are shooting 15 bullets per second instead of 20. And so you are doing, in order before that, it would take 3.3 seconds before you would be able to land that
I think the
stun.
big question
So
is
it might be
with
effective on like slower
with
teams.
no machine
but
gunners, is she usable?
again, what are the chances that it's gonna be available for PvP? Who knows? The next part is what is probably kind of got away from people's minds. This one is her offensive capabilities, and that people didn't really anticipate that
Yeah.
because people were just like, oh, they were focused a little bit on her support, and with rightly so. We did initially think that the support is, oh, she's gonna be support, but then they didn't really think about that, well, she's gonna be support and hit hard. So this is where I kind of did a little bit of some calculation. There's the first part
So she's
that
like
only
Grave,
activates
support plus hit
every
hard.
1 second, and it triggers attack sequentially 4 times. In case you guys didn't know, this attack sequentially is, it triggers 4 times. Cinderella has it already. This is 63.36 multiplied by 4, and every second, so you multiply that by 10 in a full burst, and that will hit the enemy. And then the next one is the consumed by allies. Total ammo consumed by allies, which is 500, and this affects random enemy units, but you know, if there's only one, then it will just hit one. Attack sequentially, in case you guys didn't know, so for example, this attacks sequentially for 4 times. If there's 3 enemies, it would hit 3 different enemies. It would hit enemy 1, 2, 3, and then after that it will go back to the first one that it hits. So it's kind of random, but not exactly random. And so this one seems like, oh, it's 85% times 10, and so that's like 850%, but then it does need this 500 bullets
Yes.
thing, and I did some extra calculation. Basically what you're trying to get out of it depends on how many machine guns you have, and I just calculated, if you have machine gun but then not I'm counting also the SMG, I'm just counting herself as the SMG, but then the other one, let's say sniper rifle or rocket launcher, so I'm not kind of counting them already, but basically that's how frequent they will trigger. This 85% multiplied by 10, and then how often it triggers, basically it's the DPS or attack percent per second is like 238%, 340 if it's 3, and then 442 if it's 4. So it actually, the more MGs that you have, the stronger she becomes at the very least. So this will actually be pretty decent damage. And as again, this is like a rough paper math, I just wrote it down. The damage during full burst, I didn't count the one where she's just, it's not full burst, but I could have done that. But Pascal didn't put this thing again and started writing in Notepad, so just blame Pascal about this instead of writing it in the Excel sheet, Google Sheets, but who cares, right? I kind of gave like some simulation. Rappi just ends up having like that 535% multiplied. I counted the attack, and then the attachment from skill 2, and then the explosion from skill 2. Machine guns. So as you can see here, she actually does
Basically,
even
he's
out,
comparing.
I did not count like whatever other self-attack buffs, overloads, and other attack buffs. But if you do add the attack buffs, likely
comparing
Siren would
Rappi
be
Red Hood
better
versus,
than Rappi, so she would end up doing more damage
Modernia?
in
No,
neutral
not
form
Modernia.
because of just better multipliers, right? She just have better multipliers, so even
What do you mean Jasper is gonna run Guillotine as a meme for Little Mermaid? No. No, Guillotine doesn't synergize at all with Little Mermaid. Bruh. What? No. No.
though she has slower base attack, kind of just makes up with it because of the just higher multipliers. And say, like for example, if you're using Crown as a buffer, Crown will give a flat attack because based on the caster's attack, it would give a flat attack
normal
additive
Guillotine
to Rappi, and then flat attack additive to Siren. And what will actually
Still no.
happen is Siren would benefit more to it rather than Rappi. But
Flora.
again, there's other things that I did consider
That's the meme.
and other buffs. But this is just to give an idea that Siren seems like you know, at the very least, like based on these numbers, seems like she will do, at the very least, you can expect at least Rappi's DPS as a B1. Now, whether her buffs are gonna be better or worse, that's gonna depend on the team, right? And there's gonna be a lot of different factors in it, because these are different multipliers. But what if there's a good burst to attack buffs instead, because she is not providing any attack buffs here? That's something to take into consideration. And maybe if a damage taken increase buffer instead, or debuffer instead on the burst too, with a little bit of attack buff, maybe that's something also. Who knows how
Siren
it will end up, because again, how this will affect is gonna vary from team to team.
So we have to reroll her lines?
I would probably say it could be roughly similar to Rappi, because one thing
elemental damage,
is
ammo count,
attack, but then keep in mind that attack is a fairly diluted in terms of self DPS, because our other DPSs, for example, let's say Scarlet Black Shadow, she gets 100% attack already on her own. So it's not as meaningful as probably, you know, the damage taken plus combination of attack damage maybe. So that's something to consider. It might end up being better or worse depending on the team composition, but again, roughly similar performance from how it seems like with Rappi. The main thing, again, that I do think that this has an advantage of is the field burst gauge. And I kind of want to expand on this a little bit. This is a little bit of...
You won't use Siren with SBS?
Player friendly.
I think you could.
I would say, like, not necessarily player friendly, but casual player friendly. Because before then, and this is how I also kind of think what's happening, why they give kind of these numbers. For a top player, this burst skill cooldown reduction, this cooldown is something that we can reach even without necessarily like this full burst gauge. A lot of the people are, for example, as the full burst is ending, we have another sniper rifle or rocket launcher that we are prepping to full charge, and then by the time full burst ends,
if it's your first time here, don't forget to hit the follow button.
Release so that it gains a lot of energy and then fast charge it. So that is like one example that what we kind of do in order to maximize like the energy gain, and we are able to reach that. But for a kind of just a casual player or not a try hard, this is something that might actually help them a little bit better.
Just use
because at least you just hold your left click.
If you don't have Asuka, that means it's a skill issue.
Even with that, there is a downside to it, and there's a pro and con to it. One is machine gun reliance. Not everybody has a really good PC, and another thing is not everybody is playing on PC.
You don't have Asuka, that means you chose not to pull her, right? Then that's on you. But if you have Asuka, then you should use her. But if you don't have Asuka, then you're happy to have Siren, because Siren herself is a pretty good DPS character. Yep. You have Asuka too? That's it. Yep. Isn't it more like luck issue? No, it's skill issue. This is where the skill comes in, okay? You go do a job, then you earn money, then you come back to Nikke Goddess of Victory, and then you spend money. The skill comes from the earning money part. I remember so many people on Reddit said to skip Asuka win to save for 2.5 anniversary. No, that is intelligence issue.
And this is I feel like I did comment it a little bit also, and I feel like Shift Up is somewhat they are testing on PC, and I feel like they're not really considering like lower end graphics players until they fix the FPS issue. This issue will constantly happen, where if you are in 30 FPS, the machine guns are gonna shoot half speed, right? So you're actually, whatever calculation I did here, her effectiveness is actually going to be lower in phones if you have crappy PC. This is something that, because I was just calculating this in terms of 60 FPS. So that is just something that you guys need to be aware of, and unfortunately it is what it is. And I do feel like I don't know, it feels like they're not aware of it at all, that FPS is an important, like it actually.
Number 2 win DPS as a burst 1 is insane, right? That's good. That's a good thing.
Affects like gameplay and damage. It actually heavily affects gameplay. Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, and I feel like they're constantly releasing these, but then I don't know, maybe this patch will fix whatever.
Asuka. Okay, fine. Asuka is number 2. Siren is number 3. Summer Sakura is number 3. Asuka is Siren is number 4. Fine, Mana is number 4. Siren's number 5. Fine, Quarry is number 5. Quarry's not number 5, no shot.
Or the MG issue is, right? Because one other way that they could do it, like for example, is to extrapolate kind of how things are. So if it's like 30 FPS, let's just say, it would shoot.
Might out DPS Summer Sakura? I don't think so. If I'm not wrong, Summer Sakura's damage output for sustained damage is like 6,000% of final attack as an attacker unit, whereas Siren is 5,000 something percent. I think I remember wrongly. We'll check it out in a moment. Summer Rosanna, she's awesome, but Summer Rosanna buffs sustained damage, whereas Siren does not do sustained damage. They don't work well together.
60 bullets instead of 30 bullets within that 1 second, because if it's 30 FPS, but it kind of just scales it, right? So, but then they're not doing it in Nikke because it's very FPS intensive. Yeah, you have 144 FPS, but the game is capped at 60 though. But hey, if you are shooting at 144 FPS and your machine guns are also shooting at that rate, Monka TOS, let's get him shipped up. Get that guy. He's actually doing more damage. He's hacking. Going back at this, there's pros and cons, right? For worse PC, it is kind of worse. If you have good PC, then it's actually pretty good. And feels like it will allow it to be a little bit more, the gap between at least like the one who are mechanically better, like Kira or whoever the top one is, and the normal player is at least like shortened, at the very least from how I see this. Now obviously there are still some things that probably the top players are gonna do that are different from like a normal player, but
top 1 DPS is Crow. Because when you use her and you praise her, people get angry and they get emotionally damaged. And nothing beats emotional damage.
Still, even at the very least in terms of like energy gain matter, and this is something that I have been noticing them a lot more, and they have been doing this a lot more also. Like Helm, for example, is giving like faster charge. Mana is, even though she's assault rifle, there's like energy boost whenever she bursts. So they are slowly trying to make it, at the very least, like shorten the gap for a top player or like top.
Wait, what?
Like min-maxers.
Sorry, I was thinking about Crow the entire time.
Is, even though she's assault rifle, there's like energy boost whenever she bursts. So they are trying to slowly trying to make it at the very least like shorten the gap for a top player and or like top like min maxers, and then the more casual players, the damage is like getting shorter and shorter, mainly because this full burst is actually very impactful. That's something that people need to account for. Doing a full burst for 14 times versus doing a full burst for 13 times is actually a huge damage difference that can matter and make a lot of difference. But yeah, I mean, and the burst, I didn't really kind of talk about it, but I think one thing that I want to touch upon on this burst is, other than the attack damage or just 10%, ooh, and then this one is the odd one. She is buffing herself but not allies, and yeah, it is what it is.
King of Anime, that's not the right way to compare them. Rocky Red Hood does not exist in the same team composition as Cinderella. Cinderella wants Rouge, she wants Summer Niece, she wants Maiden, Winter Maiden, she wants... I'm not sure about the burst 2, what's the optimal burst 2. But if you use Ruppy Red Hood in that team, it doesn't make sense and doesn't work. On the other hand, if you create a team around Ruppy Red Hood, Cinderella is not gonna shine in that situation. Grave? Maybe. Talking about overall? You cannot talk about overall. Overall doesn't exist. Okay, unless you are a hard mode specialist. Sure. Attack damage up? Okay, so maybe Blanc. Maybe Rosanna. Wait, no. Rosanna is damage taken up. They are... Unless you're talking about that. Because Nikkes don't exist in a vacuum. Nikkes exist in teams. That's why you can't compare one-to-one like that. Yeah. Okay, anyways, back to the video.
I think that one thing that I want to talk about is this 33% magazine. And I actually think that if you have like very high roll of ammos, maybe if you have like 4 backlines or something, you could essentially effectively with machine guns do infinite ammo, because within like that 3 minutes of a fight, there is basically an effectively infinite ammo. And maybe if there's like slow cooldown, maybe at most like one reload if you have like high ammo still, but not like max rerolls on it. But it is possible to just have the machine gun to continuously shoot with it because of this reload, and that's something that is gonna be team building wise for Siren. Is how many machine guns are gonna be there in terms of team building. That's gonna be a huge factor in terms of this. And what Siren would allow is, at the very least, like, she would replace volume, but not that we are going to replace her in the volume team, but more that we can put Siren in Grave team or in Crown team and then move the burst around. So let's say that Ruppy Red Hood is on Crown team and then Litter is on Grave team last solar raid, let's say, and then Volume was on Crown and the Maids team. Then what you can do is you could put Siren, Little Mermaid on Crown team or Grave team, and then Ruppy Red Hood as B1 next on the Grave team, and then you can move Litter instead on the Maids duo team. So that will kind of just propagate on it, and it can essentially effectively replace Volume. And very likely so, you should replace Volume at this point. If you guys haven't really invested much on Volume, I think she will be the one that's going to be replaced here. But again, I guess it also depends on the boss. Let's start off with that also, because maybe we might not use Stove instead, or now Shotgun, then maybe Volume might get a resurgence again. But at the very least, though, we're likely gonna be replacing Dorothy. Whoever has been using Dorothy still kinda will, at this point, you should be replacing her now, because the burst one, we have Rouge, we have yeah, we have Rouge, we have Rappy Red Hood, we have Glitter, we have Volume, and then now we have Little Mermaid. So there's like no spot for Dorothy if you were even remotely using her. Dorothy favorite item. What the hell? Yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
Yes,
But-
we need a
so
Dorothy
that's
favorite
one
item.
possible thing, and people might start like resetting her. There's one thing okay, sure, fine. One thing that Dorothy is, if they are going to continue this trend where they're gonna put distributed damage to be worth it on the, if they're gonna.
To be fair, Dorothy has been usable for 2 years now. 2 years without 2 years with small power creep. 2 years with power creep. I think it's fair. It's fair, right? It sucks to see Nikke's that you invested in get power crept. But at the same time, 2 years of being meta relevant. It's fair. Privity, I still think Privity is usable. No problem, I never found Dorothy. Validan, oh my god.
Keep making distributed damage on water raids, then maybe Dorothy will keep her relevance. But I'm just saying, one of the issues with Dorothy is because you have to tie her with another cooldown reduction or privity for ammo reduction, right? So I mean, you can do without her, but her cooldown, her burst effectiveness is kind of not gonna be there. But we are likely still going to be using Litter. We're still likely going to be using Rappy Red Hood. And in situations for Iron advantage and Fire advantage, Rappy Red Hood will be the DPS instead, and we will end up...
Sorta relevant? I mean, yes, she's not the best, but at the same time, if you're like me and you don't have Maxwell built, in certain teams where you need Maxwell built, you might use Privity. Then again, that's really fringe situations. One day maybe there's a boss, a solo raid that requires you to Snow White hit 3 things in a row or 7 things in a row. That'll be good, but yeah, skill issue. Yeah. Wait, what are you saying is skill issue, King of Anime? Huh? What? The fact that Privity is not good anymore? Is not meta relevant? Dorothy getting retired before Grand... Yeah, I can't believe it. Most games have the problem of power creep. Not having Maxwell... okay, yeah, fair. That's skill issue. I agree. Most games have problems of power creep. Nikke has problem of like, when are we gonna get power creep? I don't want to see Lita anymore. Make her go away. When was the last time Maxwell was relevant? It is whenever Snow White was relevant, which would be whenever the solo raid was electric type. And there's multiple layers to hit, multiple like core and then body and then
like maybe still use Volume at that situation.
Last Iron Week solo raid was like a year ago. Fair. Then a year ago they were relevant.
Or D-Killer Wife. Overall, it seems like her number are kind of bad, but there are other quality of life things. The field burst gauge and the focus fire is one thing that I would say her main emphasis on, but also that will also mean that her team building is going to be heavily machine gun based. And at the very least, if you want to take advantage of her also being a pretty good burst 1 DPS with some supports in it, then you will likely want her to be with other machine guns. And I mean, good thing, hey, at the very least, we do have a lot of machine guns to use. So at the very least, there's that. You have Ludmilla, you have Moderna, you have Ray, Rappi, Red Hood, you have Asuka, and then Mihara is coming in. Let's not talk about Neon. Let's yeah.
Why are we not talking about Neon?
What are your guys' thoughts on this? Initially, it was a knee-jerk reaction that we did kind of just like, what the hell are these numbers? But then if you actually like take a closer
Summer
look
Helm
in terms
for
of
Iron
her
Wings Accelerate.
DPS, it seems like she will be
Okay.
I mean, we thought that she was gonna be more of a support, but then you look at the support amounts, you're like, what is this? And also the team building, as it seems like she's pretty much like a machine gun team building right here. I don't see any other team building, and at the very least, like, you're doing her a disservice if you're not making her with a machine gun team comp at the very least. For the builds, so here's the thing.
So there's one thing that I thought of, which is the fact that maybe having a longer full burst timing will increase her damage. And yes, I know you can do the math, it'll be easy to do the math, but yeah, maybe Bunny Soda will do something. Probably not, but maybe, but probably, but maybe, but probably not. No.
Yeah, so initially I thought about it, if we're just gonna use her as support, then we're just gonna upgrade skill 1 and we don't need to upgrade skill 2 and burst.
Modernia
But
bursting
now
a meta
that we're
now?
taking
No.
a closer
Hell
look
no.
in this, and now we're gonna consider her as a DPS rather than a
Modernia?
support. Now you're gonna be
Modernia? Wait, what does Modernia do again? Modernia Nikke skill kit. When she full burst time up 5. Oh my god, maybe Modernia. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, it's not when Sky said it. It's when Lulu said it. I wasn't even listening very closely when Sky said it. I didn't realize he said it. Oh my god. It depends. It depends on whether unlimited ammo counts as ammo. Oh my god. Sorry, I've stopped looking at the numbers right now, and I'm looking at Modernia's love handles. Oh my god. That's wild. That's some nice love handles. Booba? No, not Booba. The wings at the waist is what I'm looking at. Alright, stop looking at the wings at the waist. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, stop looking. Her skin is superior to this? What do you mean? Wait, I already left this. But what do you mean her skin is better than this? Look at that. What? What is this? This is illegal. Illegal levels of... Damn, illegal. Okay, back out.
Upgrading skill 2 and possibly burst also. Don't you love shift up?
Oh, you mean as love handles? Yeah. True. The love handles are, yep.
Boy. We're taking a closer look in this, and now we're gonna consider her as a DPS rather than a support. Now you're gonna be upgrading skill 2 and possibly burst also. Don't you love shift up? Oh boy.
Huh? I don't get it. What's the criticism here?
But if we're just gonna use her as support, then we're just gonna upgrade skill 1.
Sure.
And we don't need to upgrade skill 2 and burst. But now
Sure.
that we're taking a closer look in this, and now we're gonna consider her as a DPS rather than a support. Now
Sure.
you're gonna be upgrading skill 2 and possibly burst also.
What's wrong with that? Huh? What? The problem is skill books? But sure. If that's the case, then criticize them for not having enough skill books. But when you design, let's say you're shift up, right? And you're designing a Nikke to be used. You're like, okay, I'm gonna design a Nikke and I want people to use her. Don't you want all the skill slots, skill 1, skill 2, and burst skill to be all relevant? As opposed to, oh yeah, skill 1 is objectively the best one, and then skill 2 is like, if you have a fuck ton of skill books back in the back of your warehouse, then upgrade it. And then burst skill is also like partially useless, and then if you have a whole bunch of burst skills, then use it. Wouldn't you want it to be everything is important, every choice makes a big difference to your gameplay? That's good, right? And then with regards to the skill manual, yes, they have balanced it so that we can get Nikke's up to like 777 or 666 without paying money. But they're gonna need some way to earn money, right? And let's face the facts. If you're willing to spend money to get it to 999 as opposed to 10, then you're gonna be like, I'm still unhappy because I wanted 10. Then if you get it to 10, then Shift Up doesn't have a way of earning money through skill books. So Shift Up is gonna increase it to, now the maximum skill level is 15. And then you're gonna be like, damn, I don't have enough. Sky buys every available book pack and still can't upgrade. Okay. Then that's where they should change it. The shop should have more things for Sky to buy. As a free-to-play player, I'm not technically free-to-play. My audience gives me cash and then I put it into the game. Most of the times it's for pulling skins, right? But in terms of skill books, as a free-to-play player, I recognize that I'll never hit 10 for every single character. So I had to think about, okay, where should I spend the skill books? So maybe that makes it different. That makes my situation very different from his situation. Nah, dude, more rewards needed, and they admitted, yeah. Alright, then they'll give more. And then if there's not enough, and then if there's too much, then they'll increase it to like 15. And then said, it's Sky skill issue, Lamau. Yeah, he should. skill reset his Doro. This is how to play Nikke optimally. Number 1, step 1. Predict every solo raid from now until the next time they release the skill manuals. Number 2, buff only the ones that are relevant to this solo raid. Everything else is dead to you. Number 3, correctly guess all the future solo raids and only invest in those. I unironically think they should raise the skill cap to 15. Like give more skill books, but also increase the skill cap to 15. I can see why you would say that. More skill manuals, skill cap 15. Yep, sure. Or it make it cheaper to upgrade each level of skill cap, and then skill cap 15. Each level of skills, then skill cap 15. Yeah. What about mid game players? Use the skill reset and then reinvest. Help new players catch up to current chapters with more books, while the ceiling keeps rising for those who caught up. That makes sense. DD, that makes sense. I can get behind that if 777 skills are good enough. Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, shift up balances as 777. I might be wrong. It could be 666. Either way, they balance it at a certain level, then people who pay money for all the stuff have a higher chance to go even further. So the criticism is, as a paying player, I want to be able to 10 everything. That's the criticism. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well, okay. There's only 3 minutes left in this video. Let's finish the video first.
Don't you love shift up? Oh boy. Yeah, well, here's the thing though. At the very least, okay, pull at least 1 copy of her. Don't regret it like you did on Rouge. There are a lot of people that didn't decide to pull on Rouge and started regretting it. Because another thing is, Shift Up tends to do this also, like release the supports before the DPS. Maybe there's other support DPSs that are gonna be working out with her. Now here's one thing that I could at least tell you guys. We are getting free pulls, right? Free pulls, daily pulls. So try your luck for 21 days. Pull on her banner. Try to see if you get her. Maybe you might end up like needing her immediate to install raid, but you can delay on it as much as possible as you do. And she is gonna be usable even as just a support as a B1, right? This cooldown burst and the full burst gauge, I think, in terms of the team building, if you're gonna start copying whatever the top players are gonna be using, you're likely gonna see her being used as well, especially with how many machine guns are there in fire and the boss is likely weak to fire. You want to just kind of use it. I do think that at the very least the skill 1 will put...
His prediction is the boss is wind type, weak to fire. Oh, that makes sense. Mihara is fire. Yep, yeah.
Her support capability to max. So 1044 is something that will allow her to just perform as a support. 1044. And then if you want...
1044. So damage taken not maxed out. DPS not maxed out. Attack damage and own attack. Yeah, I can see that. The 10 is important because of this line. The cooldown of burst skills down 7.48%. That's why 10 is important. Fuel burst gauge, yeah, I guess so. But if you 10-1-1, 4-4 is like 2 days worth of materials. Sure, 10-4-4. Why 4 on second skill? You're giving up on the fact that you're giving up on her being a elite DPS burst 1 character. Yeah, you're giving up on the DPS part of it. But you cannot give up on the cooldown of burst skill. Maybe 844, 944. You probably can play around with the number of this as well. Especially with how expensive 10 is. 944, 844. 744, sure.
Her to do more damage.
Her support alone is not enough. I agree. Don't think just 10 her. Yes, I have been saving. I am gonna 10 her. He's talking about free to play budget players. Because remember that Mihara is coming up soon. And Mihara is very, very, very likely gonna be a meta relevant DPS character. Not just in fire, but maybe across the board. Maybe as a dual element. It's hard to say. We don't know whether dual element is gonna be a overspec thing, or is it gonna be a... Oh, I have a guess. The guess is, what is normal Mihara's type? If we know normal Mihara's type, water, okay, then I think she's gonna be a dual element. She's gonna be useful as if she's water and as if she's fire. She is fire. As if she's water and fire. So good against fire and good against wind. Is my prediction. Oh, you discussed that in the Discord too? Good job. We are on the same wavelength. Wonder how good Mihara will be on her in the tower with her being sustained damage, which kind of sucks for clearing. It'll be good on boss and not good on non-boss, I guess. Doubt they will make her like that, but it will be fun. Fair. Okay, let me explain why I think they would rather go for a dual element. If they make her meta DPS across the board, even despite the element type, that is pushing power creep very, very fast. Whereas if they make her meta DPS on 2 elements, then they are pushing it at 40%. The power creep, it goes up at 40%, the speed. And it has more longevity as a game in that way. Is it longer? Yeah, I think it's longer. An ability in which she absorbs as much damage as possible, hurting herself like the water version lore accurate ability. Ooh, I don't know what the water version lore accurate ability is. And returning the damage absorbed to the enemies. Uni's ability who is fire. Air1, you're onto something. I think so. I don't mind 1% banners to power creep other units. Yes, 100%. I agree with you. 1% needs to power creep. If not, don't make it a 1%. But how much you power creep by is a different discussion altogether. Obviously, it cannot be you power creep too much. Otherwise, then the character becomes the be-all and all, right? And then the next character needs to be the next be-all and all. So it needs to power creep a reasonable amount. Which is why they came out with the dual elemental system. So that you can power creep. There's 5 elements now. Instead of power creeping 5 directions, you power creep 2 directions. And then the other sides, you'll be like sort of power creep. That's good. Lord Mihara has Hidan's skill from Naruto. Oh, Hidan. And they're doing good, to be fair. Yeah, I think so too. The fact that Lita is still there and they're giving away Lita for free is insane to me. Commander giving back shots, forcefully making her stronger. Nah, it's not back shots. He's whipping her from. Anyways, let's finish the video. 1 minute more to go.
As how she
We have so
is,
many
kinda
things
like
to talk
Rocky
about,
Red
guys.
Hood,
What the
you're
hell?
gonna have to start investing in skill 2 and burst skill also. Now the burst skill, it's both support and DPS, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
all of them are both support and DPS, but more so like as a DPS on skill 2. And the burst is, well, if you have the resources, I mean, I would go with it, right? Just upgrade it. But if you don't, then I would probably go with upgrading the DPSs first. If you don't have the DPSs maxed out on their burst first, then I would prioritize them over her own burst. Just mainly because, well, the values seem low. Maybe the scaling would be the reloads magazine more, but I think it's fine to kind of take it slowly on the burst. That's my take, but we will test it once it's out. We will see kind of the scaling of it once she's out, and as usual, whenever she comes out, we'll do some testing on it. So make sure you're following the channel already on Twitch, and also subscribe on YouTube. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. It's 7 a.m. now. Oh Jesus.
Alright, yep. So there you have it. That was Sky's opinion on Little Mermaid Siren. All in all, it sounds like she's gonna be fucking amazing. To me. And it sounds to him like it's gonna be slightly above slightly like sideways of Lita, right? What anime is this? Okay. Anyways, yeah. Let's talk about Nikke and monetization and the future of Nikke. We need to see her damage. True, we do have to see her damage. Without seeing her damage, we can't really tell. But just paper math, it looks like her damage is slightly better than Rapi Burst 1. Burst 1 Rapi Red Hood. Yep. I'm actually curious about something. I want to see. Okay, so my Mihara is favorite item 2 right now. We make that favorite item 3 because I recently got the necessary stuff. Yay! Okay. What is your... How much? Like... Alright, chat. Miranda! Sorry, Miranda. Chat, what is... Who's the best Burst 1 DPS character as of today? Rapi Red Hood? Okay, other than Rapi Red Hood. Sorry. I should have been more specific. Other than Rapi Red Hood. Doro. Let me see something. Miranda is... Unray! MLB? Unray? Yo! Thank you very much, Unray. Appreciate it. Let's go! Unray for the W. W Unray in the chat. Colon 33. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. I give you ASMR. Let's go. have to feed the starving streamers. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for feeding the starving streamer. I make new emotes for you. Alright. I've always been wondering, is Miranda's DPS good? What type is she? She is she an attacker or supporter? She is support. 20%. Where is your smiling face? I asked when you were editing your video. What do you mean? What smiling face you asked? I don't remember already. You have to remind me. Axia can complete also? Maybe. Did you favorite item milk? Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to play milk. Milk is fun. Okay. Affects 2 allies with highest attack except caster, including caster if there are not enough allies. Attack up 40%. Crit damage up 56% during burst. Okay, that's not personal DPS. We move on. Activates when entering full burst. Affect self crit rate up 30%. Attack damage up 23%. But it only affects self. I remember you didn't even have materials for Drake. How did you raise milk? My Drake is fully ML, is fully favorite item. Yeah. Axia's buffs are really strong, just lacking cooldown rate. True. I agree completely. Miranda attack damage up. So we need attack up and damage taken up as well. His skill issued the item gacha. Oh, you're talking about Viper. That's Viper. And then this final one is submachine gun up and then own self attack up 50%. So she has attack damage up and attack up 50%. Is she good? I can't tell if she's good. She does 80% of the damage plus 80 times 80% of damage as a supporter according to Sky's math times 123% attack damage 1.23 times crit rate up 30%. So up 30% means 30% of the time the crit damage up. So it's open bracket 1.30 times 1.5. Boom. Times 1.30 times 1.5. 30% of the time, 50% of the damage. Wrong. 30% of the time is 1 plus open bracket 0.3 times 1.5. There we go. That's more mathematically sound. That's attack damage, crit rate. Okay. Then attack plus 50%, so times 1.5 again. But this is in brackets. So she does plus 114% damage compared to plus 114% damage compared to an attacker that doesn't self buff as a burst one. Okay. Miranda's doll, she could be useful in the future. Siren, yeah. Maybe Treasure Diesel will see use with Siren. Treasure Diesel is self heal, heal friends, taunt, pierce damage up. I'm not sure. I don't think so, bro. I'm so sorry. But and reload mag. Oh, machine gun wind. Ooh. Maybe if you have machine gun pierce Nikke's, then there'll be synergy between Diesel and Siren. But pierce and machine gun I don't think exists, right? Yeah. Grave? I think some people theorized about it, right? AR pierce? AR shoots at 1/6 the rate of fire as machine gun. So that's not a good idea. Because you want to trigger Siren's 500 and 400 shots abilities respectively. JK, don't take it seriously. Yeah, fair. I have learned to calculate damage. Nice. I'm hype. We also don't know if Grave Burst gives ammo stacks. Counts as ammo shot. Yeah, true. Oh look, it's a knee. It's my knee. Sorry, I felt like hugging my knee for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, also check it out. We're down to the 3 last favorite items. Hell yeah. Exciting style, exciting times, exciting stuffs. I wonder if I can catch up with the favorite items before they release the next season of favorite items. Let's put it this way. Once I get the maintenance kits to deal with this thing, with Viper, I will immediately be able to get to phase 15, which is insane. Deals damage as sustained damage. 1 second for every 10 seconds, 1000% defense down, and then another 1000% hit rate attack. Sustained damage up 4.4%, stacks up to 10 times, last 10 seconds. Only activates when attacking. Holy crap, that's quite wild. Hit rate up, stacks up to 10 times as well. I see, that's why Viper does so much DPS, huh?
Just wait until I become an adult.
Pretty sure it's gonna be Iron Nikke's turn for favorite items. Nice. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for that. Well, and because Viper is re-enter burst stage, fair. To be fair, we have another re-enter burst stage that doesn't do shit. Let's look at Winter Rupee. Let's go. Boom, boom. Defense up for 5 seconds. Affects allies. Activates when any ally unit uses burst skills. Defense up 0.9%. Stacks up to 4 times. Yeah, that's how you get it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Burst gauge filling speed up 5%. Holy shit, burst gauge filling speed 5%, but only when caster reaches max stacks of shopping. Wild. Wild. Attract. Taunt all enemies for 5 seconds, recovers attack damage as HP over 10 seconds, reload speed up 34% for 10 seconds. It's crazy how bad Rupee Winter Shopper is. The only Nikke that I haven't gotten so far is Crust. But she looks gorgeous. Sure. Yeah, Air 1, I know. Winter Rupee is a baddie? Yes. I will hand her all my money. I also don't have Makima, which is PvP relevant, and Power, which is, I guess, Fire solo rate relevant. Oh, cute cat. List all the B3 MGs real quick. I'm assuming you're testing me and that you're not asking me to search for it. Rapi Red Hood. Mihara overspec. Guillotine. Summer Neon. Asuka. Ray. Modernia. That's all I can remember right now. Let's find out. Machine gun, burst tree. Kilo. Ah, Ludmilla, I forgot about it. Product 12. Ah, I forgot product 12. Shit. Product 12. Oh my god. I should know this. I actually play with product 12. Like whenever I make a meme video, not meme video, but sometimes on stream I just meme around. Yeah, I always use product 12. Shit. Ludmilla. Shit. I'm very surprised I remembered most of it though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Ah, Kilo. How could I forget Kilo? To be fair, I don't use Kilo, but how could I forget Kilo? Wait, I forgot Ludmilla, I forgot Kilo, and I forgot product 12. But I counted 7. How's that possible? Did I name somebody twice? Kilo is cute. Wish her lobby screen wasn't Talos. I agree. But it's okay. They'll make a Kilo alt someday. In 5 years time. They'll be like, remember Kilo? She has now grown taller and she has big booba and she is her own person. She no longer needs remember Kilo. She no longer needs Talos. She has Talos Prime, and then she has Talos Prime. That's the plan. Kilo's booba goes to a ton. Huh? Yeah. She triple the size. 5 times the size. 10 times the size. They won't. Nah, never say never. Product 12 is insane though. What does product 12 do again? Affect self. Activates after 200 normal attacks. Attack up. Affects one enemy unit with the lowest remaining HP. Damage. Final attack is damage. Affects enemies within attack range. Deals damage. Better kit than Crow? True. What? She gains 0.7. Oh look, I got 1200 skill manuals here. Nice. Chat, who's the strongest rare Nikke? Soldier EG. Poop. Unray, why are you pooping? Why are you pooping? Go to sleep. Stop pooping. Suck it back up and go to sleep. When a normal attack hits, 5% chance to own self gain attack. How much? Up to up to 8%, up to 7.4%. Affect self, ammo capacity up. Holy shit. Plus 9%, plus 9%, plus 90%, 120%. Cooldown 9 seconds. What's the point of 1k skill mats? Yeah, I haven't upgraded anything in the last X amount of time. Give you some? Nope. I am saving up for Siren. In Jamaica, when someone pee, we said to take it up. Take it up. Affects enemies within attack range. Damage 180%, 240%. What? 60% jump. 60% times 10, 600%. Deals 600 odd percent, 700 odd percent damage. What? That's not bad at all. Soldier EG. Oh, she's electric type too. You can put her beside Cinderella. What? That's crazy. Product 12. Fire type. Wait, what's the name of the skills of Soldier EG? Eagle Eye, Eagle's Gambit, Eagle Shot. Got it. Product 12 is Burst Tree. Attack up. Action. Increase attack. Damn, that's wow. Action. Focus fire. Action. Precision strike. Damn. Soldier FA.
I am Soldier.
Falcon Wings. There is 10% chance of activating when attacked. Affects self. Defense up 0.9%. Goes up to defense up 9%. That's useless. Recover 2% of attack damage as HP over 8 seconds. Every 15 seconds. Wow, tanky queen. Recovers up to 20% of attack damage as HP over 8 seconds. That's crazy. Max HP up 110% for 10 seconds. But she doesn't have taunt. Shift up, just give her taunt. Let her taunt. Idol Flower. Perennial Nail Leaf. Last bullet hits target. Attack down by 14%. There's some dude who cleared all normal campaign with R characters. Should I start that account? I should start that account, right? That sounds like fun. Or maybe it's painful as hell. 10 them all with OL gears. Shit. Bro, so cool. I wish I was, when I grow up, I want to be as cool as bro. Last bullet hits the target, affects the target. Damn, attack down. Okay. Affects one enemy unit with the highest attack down also. What? Idol Flower, why are you just debuffing the enemy? Okay. Oh no! Affects one enemy unit with the highest attack. Deals damage. Taunt for 2 seconds? Crazy. That's wild. Wait, so at the end it's attack down. It goes up by 3% per level. At level 10 it's going to be attack down 40%. What? That's not bad. Don't just have half-ass this, now you have to max her. You shut your Plato's ass up. Shut your Plato's mouth up. No. Product 23. Order power boost. Order emergency measures. Order special bullets. Last bullet hits the target. Affects self defense up by 8%. You recover 1.6% of attack damage as HP over 10 seconds. Goes up to 16%. Affects 2 enemy units with the highest attack. Defense down 40%? Okay. Soldier OW.
I am Soldier OW. Everything's going well.
Okay, let me guess. Skill 1. Owl Eyes. Skill 2. Owl Feathers. Skill 3. Burst skill. Owl Strike. Owl's Claws, Wind, and Feather. Oh, I got Feather, right? Affects all Fire Code allies. Okay, wait. Skill 1. 10% chance of activating after casting normal attacks. Affects the targets. Deals 10% of damage. Submachine gun. Man, I want to see you do an all R run. How hard is it to go through the game as a normie commander who doesn't have pilgrims on call? I feel like doing it with SRs would be more fun, but R will be more relevant to what you just said. What you're saying now? 10% chance of activating after casting normal attacks. Affects the targets. Deals 25% of final attack as additional damage. So at level 10 it'll be 90%. Wow. This is not as bad as I thought it would be. 3 allies with the highest attack. Covers defense. What do you mean covers defense? What is this? And then max ammo capacity up. %300% at level 10 for 6. What? It increased the time as well. 5 seconds to 6 seconds. 15 seconds. Damn. If you played from day 1 and you invest on them, it's possible. But now it's too late. No. No. Now you have, okay, think about it. Now you have overload gear, you have dolls, you have favorite items. Well, not, you have dolls and overload gear. And maintenance kits are gonna be more common. I think it's easier now than when the game just started. Oh, they also debuff Mother Whale. It should be easier now. Product 08. Tactic. Enhanced armor. When a normal attack hits, there's a 20% chance of affecting one ally unit with the lowest remaining HP. Defense up. Affect one ally unit with the highest attack. Crit rate up 5%. Affects all allies. Attack up. Ooh. She's the buffer of this group. Attack up. That's plus 1.6% times 10, 16%. Attack up about 20%. Attack up 20%. Burst 1. Cooldown rate 20 seconds. Okay, product 08 is on our to use list. Idol Sun. Land 10 normal attacks. Defense up. 20% chance of activating when attacked. Attack up. But the boss is Mother Whale. Then you have to be over leveled, I guess. Up 3%. Okay. Max ammo capacity up 196% for 10 seconds. Make that up 800% at level 10. 900%. Wonder why Rapi Red Hood, Rapi R unit isn't an actual R unit? Yeah, good question. I'm sure there's some lore reason. Idol Ocean. Last bullet hit target, affect one ally unit the lowest HP percentage, recover 5% of health. 5% of final attack as HP. Affects one ally unit the lowest percentage. Recover 2.42%. Goes up to 10%. Wow. Affects that all allies recover 20, 30% of caster's final max HP as health. Ocean Shower, Ocean Cleansing, and Ocean Dive. Interesting. Oh yes, King of Anime. Yesterday you recommended me overpowered cheat skill, right? In Another World. I finished the series already. It is very trash. Exactly what I asked for. Thank you very much. Water type, iron, lightning, fire, wind, wind, iron, fire, lightning. Chilling an hour. So okay, let me explain the story to you guys. This guy, okay, has the ability to say die and then the person dies. Him and his classmate get isekai. In this other world, they get attacked by a dragon and also a saint, a sage. The sage goes onto their bus and says, okay, you all have powers now. One guy has the power of leadership. Another has the power of blowjobs. Another has the power of like sewing clothes. Right? There's a whole bunch of types of powers. So then the people with powers, they're like, haha, those 4 people, they don't have powers. Fuck them, we're out of here. But they don't know. My guy has the power of die, and then the person die, right? So the dragon attacks them, and then he's like, die, and then the dragon die. Then there's a girl who has no powers as well, but she's very good at martial arts. And then she's like, how the fuck did you do that? And he's like, I don't know. And then 3 bad guys, 3 other classmates came to look for them. They're like, haha, the dragon has probably eaten them. Let's go check it out. They come. Now, main character, you would think that he's a normal dude, but he's not a normal dude. He straight up says to his own classmate, die. And then the classmate died. And then the other classmate is like, what's going on? And then he's like, don't move or else I'll kill you. And then the guy is like, yeah, what the fuck you say? I don't believe you. And he's moving forward. Then the main character says die. Then the guy died. Then the last guy is like, damn, I guess I'm not gonna move. And then the story continues from there. Now, spoiler alert, I'm gonna spoil the story. In chapter 10, in episode 10 of season 1, they meet the Dark Lord. But the Dark Lord is stuck in a time capsule of sorts, a time bubble of sorts. And he's fighting the greatest hero that the earth has that the kingdom has came up with. And they are time stopped in the bubble. Some mage girl tries to fireball them, but the fireball goes into the time bubble. It can't reach them. They say it'll take years for it to reach them. Well, oh well, who cares? They move on. One episode later, the time bubble is opened by the bad guys. Because the bad guys have revived the bad guy goddess, and the bad guy goddess is here to get her boyfriend to come back. We didn't know it's her boyfriend, but it turns out bad guy goddess is a bad guy, that the boyfriend is the Dark Lord. So she dispels the time bubble, and then the Dark Lord died. It turns out one episode ago the main character just killed him. Alright, we fast forward to the last episode. The second last episode. There is a guy, there's another person who has the ability to tell somebody to die, then the person will die. So the main character's ability is die, then you die. But the bad guy's ability is die, then you die also. Then they are then we see that the bad guy die guy, the bad guy die guy meets the sage that first summons them to the world. And then the bad guy die guy says to the sage, die. Then the sage dies. But the sage immediately revives, because the sage has the ability to revive themselves. They're so powerful they can revive themselves immediately. So the bad guy die guy is like die, and then and then the sage is like die, wake up, die, wake up, die, wake up. And then he's like, how is this possible? Oh no! And then sage kills the bad guy die guy. So the sage finally meets the main character, but it turns out the main character has a higher level die than the bad guy die guy. So the main character used die on different parts of the sage. And then he makes her let them go and let them go home. The end. That's the story of cheat ability in another world. Was it fun? Sure. Sort of. Was it good? Hell no, it sucked. That was a shitty anime. It sucked so bad. Was it what I needed yesterday? Yes. Yes, it was. That was what I was looking for yesterday. It put a smile. It made me mildly irritated, which was what I was looking for yesterday. To be mildly irritated. Okay, what is this? This is shotgun. Enter full burst. All allies with shotgun attack up 63%. Let's say your whole team except for Tove is shotgun. So that's plus 240% attack. Nice. And hit rate. Oh, whoa. 240 plus 50. 290% attack up. Nice. Phase 2. 10 attacks, 98% final attack as damage. 5 attacks, 200%. So every 10 attacks is 490% damage. Final attack damage. 10 attacks happens in 6 seconds. 6.666 seconds. Okay. And then affect self, deal 3000% plus 30% attack damage. So Drake herself has attack damage up. Oops. Attack damage up, attack, and max ammo capacity. So she needs damage taken up to make her super powerful. Got it. Interesting. I wish there was more like interesting interactions. Noah Blanc with the shorty team. Yeah. Ammo goes bruh. Tove, Noah, Blanc, Drake, Bunny Soda. Or Tove, Leona, Maid Privity, Soda, Drake. I want to try making the Wind Stacks team. I think it'll be fun. You wish you had the resources for shotgun team? Yeah. What's your favorite item characters order? In terms of personal preference or tier list, like strongest to weakest? Meta wise, Helm is number 1. Viper is number 2. Drake number 3. Axia number 4. The rest are replaceable. The rest are bottom tier. I wish I could make milk work. Milk. I was trying my best to make milk work. Attack up 30%. Wild. Crit damage up. Cooldown rate. Healing. She's very likely to get replaced by Mihara. True. Fair. Diesel. Pierce damage up 30%. Helm, Drake, Viper, Laplace. Okay, the thing is that I feel like Laplace, right, doesn't do anything that other people cannot do. That's why my Laplace is lower than Exia. Then again, Exia has been replaced by Winter Maiden. And my Drake is lower than Viper because Viper is irreplaceable in solo raid. But Drake, while being very special in the way they work, can be replaced sort of by Maid Privity. She does true damage with Pierce. I still think Laplace will see use in Iron Solo Raid. Alright, fair. That's fair. True damage with Pierce? Fair. Fair. Max HP up 100%. Exia, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I think Exia is very strong on electric solo raid. I think Exia is very strong. Exia with Summer Helm. Wait, what am I thinking? Exia with... yeah, Summer Helm. Every 150 normal attacks in attract status affect self, stack count up 150, up 1. Damn, 150 normal attacks is 2.5 seconds. So every 2.5 seconds, stack count up 3. Means every 7.5 seconds, she will hit max stacks. You put Viper 2 and not Drake? Because water solo raid, Viper is irreplaceable. It's so insanely powerful. Don't get me wrong, I don't even have Viper, so I cannot test exactly how powerful she is. And I am a huge shotgun team fanboy, so I love Drake very much. In fact, I rated Drake higher than Helm in the announcement of the favorite season 3 favorite items. But in my opinion, Drake is not strong enough right now. Unfortunately. Drake is off element in shotguns while Viper is only on element. That's true. That's fair. That's fair. But the thing is that Drake, right? If you use Privity instead of Drake, you can get like 80% of the damage, 90% of the damage. But I feel like we are talking about solid extra 600 million damage, 500 million damage when you use Viper, which is a lot. But then again, once again, I haven't built Viper yet. Treasure Viper did good last solo raid. Yeah. Treasure Viper is so powerful as a DPS character in the correct type. Anyways. Alright guys, I am tired. I'm gonna go sleep. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. It's 3:47 AM already. A bit earlier than usual, but you know, sometimes you gotta rest. I wish I could replay the story from the beginning using only the SR Nikkes or the R Nikkes. That'll be so fun. Or using only like 8 only mates. That'll be fun. I wish they give a SR Nikke called Soldier EG Common Maid, and then it's a maid outfit for Soldier EG. And then she goes around and then she's like, I'm so normal and stuff, and she does things normally, but it's a SR instead of a R. And then she pops off. She does SR damage instead of R damage. Wild. Tomorrow 24-hour stream? It depends on... I'll need to check what time the maintenance is and to check it out like accurately. Attack down. Burst time down. Mm. 26 hours from now is the maintenance timing. Then no, I'm not doing it immediately after the maintenance comes up, because I'm not gonna be able to finish any story in that time period. I might start early on Thursday though. Maybe like instead of a 11 PM stream, I start at like 6 PM or something. Yep. Ram is not very good, huh? Which SR Nikke is a DPS Nikke? Neve Anchor? No, Anchor is not. Mihara is though. Crit damage up. Attack up, crit rate up. Straight up damage, Maintenance will end 26 hours from now. Yeah, I can't do that. Mihara is not a very good DPS for the SRs, but is there anyone else to use? Rappi is not good either. Oh, there's only 3? Rappi, Mihara, and Neve. Yeah, for the R Nikkes, it's Soldier EG, Product 12, and Idol Sun. I'll think about it. Alright guys, thank you all for hanging out. Good night. Good night Roy, good night King of Anime, good night Platos, good night Didi, good night Zadaism, good night King of Anime. Very excited for the upcoming update. Good night Infinite God. Good night Unray. Good night Ramik Park. Yeah. Good night Lulu. Yeah. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. Very exciting stuff today. Hopefully you guys are as excited for Siren as I am.